Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Touching Tips, a podcast dedicated to the world of PSVR2. My name is Karen Alive and Well, and I'll be introducing your hosts. From the west of Ireland, he is a visionary, a leader, a sensual and generous lover, as I can attest. Petrifying Pumpkins. Pumpkins was once a successful businessman before a tragic incident left him with stage 2 ligma of the mind. No longer able to run his multinational POG corporation, Pumpkins turned to his other passion, PSVR. Hence this channel and later podcast were born. Pumpkins is famous all over the world thanks to the various Easter eggs dedicated to him in PSVR exclusive Firewall 0 Hour. Most famously, if you go to the hangar map in the air control tower, you will see radar screens with various aircraft designations that, when combined, spell out petrifying pumpkins. It really does make him better than you. From Mexico, he has many names: El Chupacabra, El Fuego, El Pasión. But around here we call him Mr. 777 or Jackpot. Mr. 777 moved to the United States as a wee lad. A former Xbox fan, Jackpot gave up on Team Green when he discovered the future is virtual reality, and has been on PlayStation since. Jackpot lives with his mother in her basement. She reached out to Pumpkins, begging him to let Jackpot be a co-host as she worries about his lack of social communication skills, as you will soon see for yourselves. He turned to marijuana at a young age and has reached a stage where if he were to ever stop smoking, the shock to his system would kill him immediately. Jackpot has a heavily stained pillow that he calls Amanda. He believes that she is real and that he is in a long-term relationship with her. His catchphrase is, "Bitch." And finally, all the way from the frigid wastes of Canada, comes Muzz. Muzz has a passion for maple syrup and discussing PSVR2. He once got lost in the frozen tundra of northern Canada with his best friend. The ordeal was harrowing and led to Muzz eating the remains of his friend in order to survive. Shortly after, Muzz turned to VR gaming as a way to escape the horrors of the reality he leaves every time he puts on the headset. It's worth noting that while Muzz maintains his best friend was dead before he began to consume him, later studies of the remains hinted at the possibility that the friend died from infections that were caused from bites, though due to a handling error, the evidence was deemed inadmissible and Muzz walked free. He also has a cat. Without further ado, let the show begin. I've been Karen Alive and Well, and I will now hand you over to the strong, sexy hands of Pumpkins. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and all that usual YouTube shite.
And we begin.
What the fuck is this?
So now I unmute, and hopefully you boys can speak and we'll be able to hear you.
Test.
Alright. Test.
There you
Whoa,
go.
I'm everywhere.
Test us.
There you go.
Testies. Yeah, no, I hate that little glitch at the beginning. I should do like a slower transition so that it loads in faster.
A smoke transition.
A slower transition. Oh, are you asking? Are you making a request? You want smoke? Marijuana
I can do it.
transition?
I can try to do it. Anyways
is right. Fozzie Bear is here. Roy Schwartz is here. Donnie is here. Everyone peeping, smashing thumbs, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. It is appreciated. Lads, it is episode 46 now of Touching Tips. And how you been? You know?
good.
Doing
Firewall works. That's all I care about.
Firewall
It
works.
works to a point.
To a
It
point.
works.
Almost perfect.
All right, we're jumping
That's
straight
great.
into Firewall then. We're jumping straight into it.
Except they didn't save my spot. I had to come
Yep.
home, run over a couple old ladies because you told me you're saving my
You
spot. And
should've
then I
ran
come
over
here and
more.
then
You should have ran over
It was
some
worth
old
it.
ladies.
It was worth it. You had to get in on the.
I'll be home in half an hour. Okay, I'll just stand in the lobby streaming for half an hour with
Listen.
no activity. What do you think? What do you
15
think I am?
minutes. Anyways, whatever.
Anyway,
good.
whatever
It
is
works.
right. Warmonger is there as well. How you doing, Warmonger? And Mad White Jamaican says, I need to play with you guys. Is that like a threat or like a sexy kind of a way? Or do you mean like Firewall Ultra, do you think?
Could be both.
Both.
Could be, yeah, exactly.
I hope
Said
it's both.
I hope it's both too. Yeah, Firewall Ultra got the update today. Patch 1.06 dropped out of nowhere. Posted by First Contact Entertainment. I raced upstairs with my jammies on.
He only fell
and,
twice.
I slipping. I banged my knee against the door and blood everywhere and bruises everywhere. But we got there in the end. And I streamed this for, well, I was kind of doing a test stream to see what it would be like. I didn't know if it was going to be a quick half-hour stream of pure disappointment that it didn't work once again, or it would be a full-on stream because it actually worked. And I'm delighted to say it's the latter, although not perfectly. You know,
Pretty close.
Worked. Pretty close, yeah. So
Pretty
when I went in fresh, I got 3 friends. They joined. When they finally joined, this was nothing to do with Firewall. It's just that they were taking ages to join. Not their fault either, obviously, because it was a different time of day that I usually stream. But whatever. Once I started matchmaking, it was fairly fast, not rapid or anything, fairly fast. And then we got into a match. It was solid. I think the first one we got paired up against the Game Cats, Brian Paul and his posse of feline friends, and we went up against them for a few rounds, and then they dropped out because, you know, obviously they were getting their asses beat so badly they had to run. And then a new squad came in, and there was no dropping. That was like the nervous part. It was like, you know, when the squad leaves and a new squad come in, is it going to keep working? And it did keep working. The problem
It kind of worked. It kind of worked weird though, because like it spread everybody into like different rooms, like on one side of the map and the other. And we thought it messed up at first, but then the guys that were in the room were saying that, oh no, once it starts, it will all fix itself and put you in the right team.
Right. Yeah.
And
so
it
it was like 6 of us were in one room, and then 2 of us were like by ourselves in another room. And when the match
still
actually
had
started,
to restart the lobby though. I think in order to
That
get
came
there, we
after.
still all had to restart.
Yeah.
Was it after?
so when,
This was before that.
yeah. So this was at first, and then when 2 of our team left, that's when we started having trouble. That's when like the issues that are still there were still there. Where basically if anyone on your team leaves, you cannot invite somebody new in. It seems, anyway, from what we tested, we couldn't get Jackpot in, we couldn't get Donnie in, so we went back to the main lobby again. We got them in, and we kept having issues where they got dropped. Now somebody in the chat said we should have just waited, because sometimes it sucks 2 of them in first and then the other 2 have to wait or something. But we didn't wait. We thought it was broken. So we ended up quitting and going back to the main menu, starting again, and eventually like rebooting the game itself. And then when we rebooted the game, it worked.
And that happened before. I don't know if you remember, dude. This happened before in Firewall 0 Hour. We had to restart the lobby every time. It's almost like the same shit.
Yeah,
It's weird.
It's
Weird.
my PTSD from Nightfall, the Nightfall debacle.
Yeah, Nightfall was fucking... Could you even get a match in like solo in Nightfall? I don't think you could for the whole month.
No, I think it was
Nobody
broken
could
for a
play.
month. Nothing.
Yeah.
Disaster.
So when the game started working, Firewall Ultra started working today, I was like, a lot of the negatives I have about the game, which are still there by the way, like the way aiming works, grenade throwing, stuff like that. It made me forget about them a little bit because it's like, oh shit, it's actually working and I'm actually playing and I'm actually earning XP in crypto and stuff like that. And you know, I was overjoyed, scenes of jubilation, and it was good, you know.
Yeah, it was good times.
And that's the. I wouldn't. Would you say it's fixed? It's playable now, at least.
For
Not
me,
fixed.
no. You know
It's not
exactly what I'm
fixed,
gonna say.
No, but even the matchmaking, we shouldn't have to do all
You
this.
know what I'm gonna say.
Not everybody's gonna figure this out, how to do what to do in order to, play.
No,
So
unless that
it's not
person in the
fixed,
chat
but-
was right when he said that we should have just waited, and it would have brought us to.
Well, I feel like a bunch of the times me and Donnie were getting put in other lobbies, but with other people. So I don't know. Maybe we can test it out, but yeah, maybe it is completely fixed, but I don't know.
Listen, it was
Better
awesome.
though, it's playable, which I'm glad.
It's basically
Yeah,
step 1 of the fixing process, because there's like
Yep.
the networking problems, there's the in-game broken stuff that they need to fix, and then there's just the current game mechanics that aren't broken, but a lot of people don't like. So there's like 1 fix, 2 fix, and then the third one is like, can they change any of the actual current mechanics of the game? that
Can
are
they?
running?
Yes.
Yeah.
Will they? No.
Yeah.
I think it's going to depend
Well,
on.
The one that I'm giving up on is the ADS system, because I didn't realize it until today. I looked at the trophy list, and one of the trophies is getting so many kills, like 100 kills or something, while or 100 headshots while using the ADS, like looking down the ADS sights.
Yep.
So you can't have a trophy and then take it out of the game. So
Well,
it's
they could, like,
well,
if they ever were to remove
they
it, they could
could.
just patch it so that everyone gets that trophy as soon as they update the patch. Like, let's say
Right.
hypothetically they
Yeah,
got rid of it,
yeah.
they could get around it that way.
I suppose,
Yeah.
but it's less likely though if there's a trophy related to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I've been talking a lot.
I was just saying yes. Yes,
You're
yeah.
going to say it.
Hold on, because I want to forget it. The only thing, the thing that kind of disappointed me the most when I was watching trailers, because a lot of people were saying about Crossfire, how it kind of like was sold. They were selling something else, a different game. I feel like for Firewall, obviously they were very quiet for a reason, right? They didn't give us nothing except the freaking thing about a stab a dude in the back. So if you look at the first trailer we saw with the cucarachis, right, with the flashlight and shit,
Cucarachis.
he opens the door. The cockroaches. He opens the door.
Yeah.
I was lost too. Don't worry.
As I said
Which
in
contractor
Jersey,
is Cucarachi?
I don't want Kukuraki.
the contractor opens the door like this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Like this. So in my head, I was like, oh, we're getting and I know people are going to bitch at me. We're getting a VR game, right? All this stuff. So that was a little bit disappointing for me because I feel like there's a reason why they were very quiet. And it's fine, right? If you're going to sell us this more of a flat game, like Must says, flat mechanics, but with VR aspect to it, it's fine. Just tell us. But I was a little bit disappointed because for me, the game is still going to be fun and great, but it me is losing a little bit of the potential for me if they would have made it an actual, and this is not the right word, but actual VR game. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, I know
With
what you
those mechanics,
Interactions,
pull your interactions, put your gun in your hip and all that type of stuff. Everything we kind of expect for a VR game. That's why I kind of was disappointed because I was like, man, did the trailer show any of that? And I looked at it and I was like, oh fuck, it shows that they're opening the door, kind of like a VR
Yeah, the
game.
door
would be.
thing was
So
very.
I think that's the most disappointing thing to me, the whole marketing thing. Kind of trick us in a way, but it is what it is, right? What can we do? That's what everybody does, and it's our fault for falling for it, I guess.
I totally forgot about that in the trailer where it shows the hand pushing a door.
The door, yeah. But do you think maybe that was the
Now I'm
plan,
even
or-
more disappointed. Now I'm even more disappointed.
Like, could that have been something that was in development and then it was too finicky or it was too annoying and they cut it?
I don't know. Maybe I think that's just the way that the studio, the developers, they just want to do the game. The mechanics more of a flat mechanics it's like they're flat. It's like if it was a flat developers trying to do VR. I don't know, because I don't want to like sound like an ass or anything, because I don't know, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it, right? I think that's just what their goal was, and that's what they wanted to do.
Well, it's
Which,
like-
again, it's still a really fun game, but I think for me the potential, this could have been, in my opinion, like fuck the game everybody's running to buy. In my opinion, if it was the full VR experience.
No, I agree. I mean, a lot of people are agreeing what you say, that it feels like a flat game in most aspects, except that it's in VR, obviously.
Still really fun though.
Still really fun. Mad White Jamaican, so I'm just catching up on some comments. He says, my vibe is cool. He says he could be talking about all of us, but I think we know he's talking about me. I should stream on TikTok. I got like 600,000 followers on TikTok. God damn.
TikTok.
That's a lot of followers. The last round I played today, at first there was 62 people as for placement, but when we got in the game, we were where we planned to be. So Donnie had the same experience we did. Decepticon says caca roaches.
He knows all about them.
Donnie says you can't move in game like the first trailer presented. So I don't know what you mean, like other than the door push thing, which you can't do. I think
what
everything
other
else is kind of
movements?
there though, isn't there? Like it's just he just slowly walking around the place, no? In that trailer.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said that they made us think that you actually had to like kind of type something on the computer, but that doesn't really. For me, the main thing was opening the door, because it's not like a little bit. When you open the doors in the game, they just open. Your hand is not even. It just kind of goes in there and it opens. This one, if you look at the trailer again, it slowly pushes the door in. So
And that would add strategy, like if you're just peeking doors instead of actually like
Right,
shooting
just
from
slamming
little
them
angles
open.
and stuff.
right,
so-
just more immersive in my opinion. But hey,
I just get the
it's
feeling
still
that
fun for me.
they probably had that planned and then had to cut it. I would imagine, because it was such a big focus in the trailer. Well, not a big focus, but it was a It was one of the few interactions he had in the world, you know. So it's kind of weird that because you're shaking your
I think
head,
it was a
disagreeing with me.
marketing thing. They're trying to trick us.
So you think they're
That's
deliberately
their job.
lying? Deliberately
They're
lying?
lawyers.
Well, they would have had to have that trailer made like a long time ago then, because they're not going to cut something like that very like that soon to the
Well,
game coming.
that was the reveal trailer. That was the very first thing we saw.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
for all we know, it was
Yeah, it's not in the one that's running
a
right now.
different time,
right?
a different build.
I think there's a reason why they didn't show us any trailers, no nothing, and people were skeptical because maybe some of these things we were to know about it and complain about. Like, wait, what do you mean it doesn't have this? Like, we knew. I mean, look what happened with. Let's be honest, dude. The manual reload. I don't think they had that really planned. Maybe, but then everybody started bitching, and I was like, holy shit! Let's just tell them that we're working on it. But if you notice in the year thing, it's not even in there. So I don't know. I just think that this is just how it always wanted to be, you know?
The thing I say about like it's not being in the roadmap, like you could explain that away by the fact that it's like it wouldn't be like a DLC content. It could just be a patch that comes along and it doesn't have to be a big,
Right. Yeah.
you know, its own thing. Now that's my hope. You know, I'm huffing on that copium when I'm saying shit like that, but that's what I'm hoping. And I do think you're right that it was backlash and they're like, oh shit. People are really wanting this manual reload, and we better do something about that.
At this point, they know what we want, obviously, right? But if they don't give us that, I would have preferred that, but I'm still okay with what we got, right? It's still fun. I would have preferred the other grenades, or prefer this, but you know, I still think this is a really, really good game. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I still need to play more, and we have complaints, right?
Yeah.
But I still think that it doesn't. I thought it was gonna really affect me a lot, like, fuck this, but no, I mean, it's still really, really fun. I just would have preferred a different way, but it's still a great game, and I think it holds up with any other shooter.
I mean,
it has some very like fundamental mechanics that they need fixing though, like that are still broken, like the toggle grip.
Your toggle grip,
It's
yeah.
like-
that doesn't get brought up enough, but yeah, it's something that
Yeah,
it seems like
that's
it
pretty
should be an
annoying
easy enough
thing,
one
yeah.
to fix, though, shouldn't it?
Yeah, you think so? Like, it's. I just don't understand why they didn't fix it in any of these patches. Like, I can't be the only one that really likes to use toggle grip rather than just like constantly squeezing the grip button.
No.
Wait.
That. I squeeze it, but
Didn't we talk about if you hold it, if you press it once closer to your other hand, it would just lock it in?
it does.
It does.
Pretty sure we did that.
But
Right.
sometimes it takes like 5 or 6 tries before the grip actually gets
Yeah,
it.
it's a bit finicky.
And then the thing that's worse is once your hand's on the gun, it's fine until you have to reload, because as soon as you hit the reload button, the animation finishes, but your hand doesn't go right back to the gun. It doesn't like grab it again once the reload's finished. Where it does, if you're gripping the gun with the button and you press the reload, you'll see your hand do the reload animation, and then it will just go right back to the gun where you're holding it.
Yeah.
So it should do that the same way when you have the toggle grip on, because now I'm frustrated even more because I do a reload, my hand's not on the gun, and then sometimes I have to press it like 5 times to get it locked back on.
Yeah.
So that's just like, it's just constant frustration the entire match, and it's something that should just be like quickly adjusted. But
and it makes sense in a game like Pavlov, because you're actually taking your hand off the gun to reload and then you put it back on, so it feels more natural in Pavlov.
But I play Pavlov with the toggle grip as well. I like playing any shooter game.
Yeah,
with
but when you have to reload, so you have to use your other hand to actually take it off, and then you have to place it again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you have to take it off, and then when you go back, you just press it again, and it clips back on.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
But that feels more natural, you know. Whereas when you have to do it again in Firewall, it doesn't feel as natural because you know the hand did it itself. Your hand didn't move at all in real life.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
It seems like this is just an advantage for people that are using the gripping method, because they don't have to like re-grip. Their hands always on their gun after the reload animations, which it should just be like identical.
Okay, should be the
the
same for everyone. Yeah.
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 Let me see how many comments we've missed. Warmonger says still got to nerf Raha and the end of game results screen 20 foot in the air. The latest patch seems to have fixed the screen for me, the end screen. Once. Well, there was one issue like when I recentered my, you hold the options button to recalibrate or whatever. Then it sent it up in the sky. But for most of the matches I played, the scoreboard was in front of me, which was unusual. I was happy with. But yeah, Raha is a big problem. She is forcing me anyway to feel like I always have to use Ninja, even if they're not even using Raha under the team, because they could have that as a secondary skill, the scout skill.
Yeah.
So I'm forced to play that way, and that's annoying. So I really want First Contact Entertainment to nerf the shit out of that, big time.
I'm also not liking the whole aspect of the game right now, where it does seem like if you're willing to spend money right now, you'll have an advantage. Like there's too many perks behind like the paywall, or you have to grind. Like I didn't spend any of that $100,000 that they gave me, and that, including what I made so far in the game, I'm just shy of like 130 crypto, and it takes 150,000 just to get one contractor. So I'm gonna get Diaz so I can run faster, but then now it's gonna just take forever just to get like a
Raha.
I don't know, or a sight or a gun sight or anything.
But my hope is them assignments, which surely should unlock soon now that the matchmaking is in a more acceptable state. My hope is that they really boost the cryptos and all that shit.
Diamonds like hit the doors or do the ADS bullshit.
Well, it'd be like hack 3 laptops or whatever. There's 3 different tiers of them. So they explained it to me that there's like tier 1, and you could have 3 tier 1s. You could have 1 tier 2 and 1 tier 1, or you could have just a tier 3. So I imagine as you go up the tiers, they must be more difficult.
Right.
And but it's different than 0 Hour, because none of the main perks were behind a paywall. So like everyone was on equal starting ground. Everyone had to grind to get all the guns, and everyone had to grind to unlock everything. But now it's like right off the get-go, you can either grind for however long to unlock a contractor or a skill or a weapon, or you could just pay the money and get the perk right off the bat.
But when 0 Hour started doing them seasons things, didn't they start it so that whoever got the season got the contractor straight away, obviously? But if you wanted that skill, you had to wait until the end of the season, no? And then you could get it.
But it still did become available, right?
It did, but it was like a timed exclusive pay to win. Even though none of the skills they added was like, OP.
Yeah, they were all the newer ones, right? Like they weren't like quick time and like the stuff that
sprint and double time, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you think everything is like so high in price? Because I mean, it just doesn't make sense why it's such a high, even with, like you said, with the other stuff they're gonna add, but it just seems still like a grind. Is it
that's why I keep saying like wait for the assignments. Like if there's still a shitty like low payouts on the assignments, then it feels like it's they're leaning towards encouraging you to buy the shadow crypto or whatever. But if they're reasonable payouts,
we already spent $60 on this. I don't want to have to spend another dime because I don't have all day to be sitting down and playing the game. I wish I would, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm upset about too, because I did buy the deluxe edition like you did, and I wouldn't have bought the deluxe edition if I knew what I was getting and what I was missing out of it. Because I would have just bought the regular version. I would have just bought the regular version. Well, did you have in your videos like what contractors and what skills they had?
Yes,
that were coming in. Okay, I totally forgot.
You tricked us. You lied to everybody.
Fake fans.
What?
Fake fans.
I'm just forgetful. I probably watched it.
No, money busting your balls. Listen, these videos are like hour long, so
I should have just bought the regular version and then used the extra money for like a $5 for Diaz, $5 for.
But look, we didn't know it was going to be. We didn't know it was going to be like 150,000, and it'll be like a serious grind 2 weeks later and to not be close to them.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, I'm pinning all my hopes on the assignments having big payouts. That's where all my hopes are right now.
Well,
and that, like, if you do an assignment, I hope you can just pick up another one straight away, and it's not like, oh, wait 24 hours to get another assignment.
Do we get hack keys with this? With the thing that we bought, the extra thing?
Shadow crypto, I think, is like the answer to hack keys.
Equivalent.
Yeah. Maybe you get some shadow crypto if you do the op passes or buy an op pass or whatever. We'll have to wait and see how that works.
So I don't have to grind.
Tsuki, I'm catching up in the comments a little bit. Played Firewall for an hour or more and hit level 2, and I can say it's not fixed. If you have full teams, it's great. The second you lose someone, it takes forever to get another.
It didn't take us forever to get a match going again, but it did take longer, obviously.
Well, once we lost someone, we had to start messing around until we figured out, like a routine.
Right.
But he's just talking about like just staying in the lobby and waiting for someone to join. It took a long time for him, so I think that's just kind of like hit or miss. Some people it might be faster, and some people it might be a bit of more of a wait. Just
Well,
kind of random.
according to some people, like the last patch before today seemed to fix matchmaking for some people. Like they were able to it's way better now. We can get like a bunch of matches. But for me, it was not working at all. So your mileage may vary, it seems. Donnie says that's been my biggest issue with the game as a whole. The fact that ADS and weapon wheels are flat game mechanics that don't belong in VR. I don't have an issue with the weapon wheel. Actually, today was the first time I had a problem with the weapon wheel where I couldn't pick up a grenade. Like my eyes were looking at the grenade and I wouldn't select it for some reason. It would select all the other ones, but just not that one. But it doesn't bother me.
It's like cataracts. You know.
Could be.
I messed up once with it as well. I was going around a corner and my thumb slipped off the stick just for a second, and it pressed the button that brings up the reticle wheel just for a split second. But because my eyes were looking up, it was wherever my eye was, it was looking at the knife. So my finger touched it, and then when I took it off, I was holding the knife because that was where my eyes were looking. So it was like,
I don't think the knife is even in the weapon wheel, is it? Like you probably just tapped the circle button because that's the.
no, it is. There's a knife
The
there.
knife is in the weapon wheel. I didn't know that.
Oh, maybe
Those are
maybe I
four
just tapped
options.
it then.
No.
Oh no, that's right. When you tap it, never mind. This wasn't a reticle wheel then.
But still.
I just tapped. Yeah, I just tapped it. Never mind. That's
You know what I wish they would do is swap the flashlight button and the reload button. Just swap them around. Because I have to take
Why?
my
'Cause
hand
you
off
always
the button.
reload?
I have to take my hand off the stick to hit the flashlight. Well, it makes more sense to take your hand off the stick to reload, I think. It's kind of annoying to use a flashlight. But that's just my personal opinion. Not a big deal. And having no access at all to a jammer until high level is a massive L, says Tasuki. Makes defending
Yep.
so hard. There should be one in a preset loadout, a jammer.
Yep.
It would be nice.
That is 100%.
it's such a key. It's such a key mechanic in the game. Like that's
Mhm.
kind of like one of the first things you think of is the jammer in Firewall.
And it's going to take a long
Yeah.
time to get to level 20, like 25 or 6 or whatever it is to get that. And God knows how much it
That's
costs. Will you
stupid.
have the money to buy it? Ling Long.
Do they need to put it like a level 5 or some shit? Or
Yeah.
like they say, they need to have it on one of those already loadouts, defending loadout or whatever, because it's stupid. This is really dumb that we don't have it.
Ling Long says it still splits up lobbies when someone leaves enemy team. For us, we had the entire enemy team leave and then a new enemy team came in. And it worked. Danny says they didn't have it in Firewall 0. Why bring it in afterwards? The Sense controllers have 4 less buttons than the aim controller had. There's no D-pad. So a weapon wheel is a good way of, reducing the amount of buttons. I mean, you could cycle through them with a button tap, but seeing as they've made equipment, like stuff that you actually equip this time instead of stuff that would just like throw out of your body magically, you'd have to cycle like 4 times to get to whatever weapon you wanted.
Right. I don't have that much of a problem with that's the least of my problems with the whole game. The weapon
too.
wheel, I think the most problem, obviously, like the aiming and all that. But just like we talked about, and Donnie said, like the more flat mechanics, like the hacking the computer, just a little mini game at least, or like in Pavlov, right? Just tap a bunch of buttons, stuff like that. Opening the doors will be a little bit nicer. Like I said, the weapon wheel, I would like if they want to give us the option to use it, sure, but also have our weapons in our hip, right? So we can also do that. I don't know. Those are my main issues. Mainly, like I said, the just the flat mechanics overall, and obviously the aiming. But it's
you just said a holster system would also remove the need for a weapon wheel. So yeah, that's a good point that I didn't think of.
give us the
until you just
option
said
if you want to use it. If not, then use whatever you want to use.
Yeah. Rogues says, not the rogue that we know, but a different rogue. Ultra was made for flat screens and an aim controller. They're living in 2018. Tsuki says toggle grip works until you need it to work, then it doesn't. GT says, am I a mod racer?
Yeah.
Ooh, the power. Wasn't he always a
You're
mod
way
racer?
behind. You're way behind.
I know, I'm trying to catch up. GT, I think we met you a mod racer. Was someone pretending to be GT? I can't remember. Someone was pretending to be Hess before, so we had to make the real Hess a moderator too.
I think last time I saw GT in the chat, he was a moderator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's only noticing that thick blue wrench beside his name now.
Just gonna start banning people left and right now. Just
Rogue says one round of beta testing would have acknowledged 90% of complaints. It's wild. Yeah, beta would have been. I don't know. Do you think it was a Sony thing where they're like, no, we don't want to do a beta?
We'll never know.
Or First Contact were like, no, we don't need one. I wonder. I wonder what goes into
I don't
that.
know. I mean, I don't know because other games do beta, so why would this one not?
Even Honor and Juicy D-Day Enhanced Edition has a beta, so like it can't be too
especially
expensive.
if it's a multiplayer game, like just literally. That's why. Oh, we don't have reviews. Sorry, because it's a live service game. Okay, how about you at least test it before you really? I don't know. Anyways, I don't even go that way. But
There
yeah,
you go,
it makes no
GT.
sense
That's
to
the
me.
spirit.
What's he say? I'm way behind.
Everyone hit like, or you get banned.
Nice one. Nice one, GT. Threaten them. Have you seen his muscles? He'll do it.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
guy. He's got that
Fucking-
blue wrench now. He'll smash you in the head with his blue wrench.
Fucking
what he
rip you in half.
Donnie thinks that the skill lightweight, which used to be called double time, is more like quadruple time. So he thinks it's too fast.
It seems like it is because we started one match and then we like walked like 10 feet and they were already on our side, like shooting at us from the high ground. It's like, how did you get here so fast?
War Room makes a good point. I agree with him. He says skip and grind with money shouldn't be in the game at day one. I think if you can't put the assignments in day one, then maybe you shouldn't have put the cryptocurrency in at day one either. Like once both are
True.
available, then that seems more fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that, I think.
That's why it seems kind of like pay to win
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, obviously they
if
weren't
you're-
anticipating the matchmaking issues, and they were like the assignments should have been live by now. I get that, but
Right, but it is in their power to turn off like the pay to win, like the shop and
Yeah.
stuff like
Well,
that for like.
I assume it is.
But they're not ever gonna do that
No,
because.
I mean people are using it, so
Well, that's true, but that's the problem. Like,
know,
it
I
makes
know.
you feel at a disadvantage if you're not going to spend $5 here, $5 here
Mm-hmm.
for perks, and then you
Yeah.
have people running all over you with double time Raha and
But I just know, like, we all assume Raha will get nerfed. So imagine just buying her, and then she gets nerfed, and it's like, damn, I just wasted 500 shadow cryptos on nothing. The cost of items are stupid high, says Donnie. 25k for a weapon skin, and in 0 hour it was 1,000. Damn, I wasn't aware the skins were that much.
Are they even that much better? Because I can't even look at everything's blocked from me. But are the skins?
Have you
a bit
noticed-
Much the same, I don't know. I mean, they're different designs or whatever, but you know, skin's a
better?
skin.
Yeah, but they're worth that much more because
No,
they said Firewall 0 hour.
that'll be that. Like
1,000.
this, you buy skins when you've bought everything else. I think don't go waste your
Like
money.
if it costs more than $1 to buy like pajama pants or some shit like that, then that'll be. If they charge like $5 like that, that'll be pretty.
Well,
stupid.
those ones will be in like the operation pass, like you do the challenges or whatever to get those things. I think.
Right,
have
but
you
if I
noticed
don't
that
want to,
there's no trinkets yet?
No, oh, you like there's no option for them anywhere.
I don't see any trinkets in the store. Do you guys?
I haven't gone through the store much because I don't even have any money, so it's like why even look?
wow, that'll suck if there's no trinkets anymore.
Yeah.
have them trinkies.
Am I wrong? Did anybody see those in the
I didn't
in
see
the store?
them. No, I didn't see them in like
I
any
haven't even
trailers or
fuck
anything.
around in
either.
the store.
Anyone in chat
Siggy
can correct
says
me on that. But I don't think they are.
you say wait for assignments, but there is no excuse for them to not already be out. Fact is, they re-put out the game that's worse than 0 hour. Like, I don't know that there's no excuse for them not to be out. I don't know how the assignments work. It could be that they're a time thing. It could be that they refresh every 24 hours and you can only do a certain amount of them in a day, in which case, if matchmaking isn't working and you can't get them done, it's unfair that way. Maybe that's the idea behind it. So I have to wait and see what assignments look like. Rogue says
Right.
jammers are 380,000.
Holy
Really?
shit!
That can't be
Holy
right.
crap, man.
That can't be right.
Is
I
that
bought
true?
the Taylor for 100k. There's no way the jammer's
The
worth.
jammer's going to be over
Three-
three
nearly
times
four
more
times
expensive.
Oh,
I believe him, but
I hope-
Jesus,
I
that's,
hope not.
That's
That's-
fucked. The game broke stuff that worked. Few maps that are all reworks of maps we already had, except one. Then the nickel and dime us for contractors you need for a fun time. Now the map thing was known before launch, wasn't it? We knew what maps we were getting.
yep.
We knew that only one was going to be new.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like that was a scam or, a con move. LSB agreeing
It
with
just-
the Suki though. Sorry.
just
Mark.
in general, I think they went about the monetary aspect of 0 hour much better than they have already been doing now in Ultra. Like I was perfectly fine with like paying for the mission whatever the battle pass was called.
Operation Nightfall.
Right,
You were
Operation-
happy
yeah.
with that one.
Not that one, but I mean just in
The very
just in
first one.
general.
Do
Just
you
the
think?
operations in general. I'm okay with buying an operations that gives you like a list of new things that you can unlock as you go through it, just like any other battle pass from other video games. That's a fair way to do it. But starting the game off from day one, where they have like a really bad grind and everything's unlockable with money
Yeah.
in terms
Right.
of like it just
Do
has a
you-
bad feel to it. Like I don't like that.
Do you think that the reason why Firewall Ultra is the way that it is, meaning flat mechanics, kind of just like Firewall 0 hour? A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's kind of like the same game, just better graphics." Blah, blah. Do you think the reason why they didn't do it, an actual VR experience, right, with like reloading and all that, because it costs more money? Because they're like, "Hey, do we just port the game, better graphics, kind of do a little bit extra stuff, use the technology and all that, or do we spend even more money on adding the more VR mechanics, which I think they should have done?" What do you think that had anything to do with it, the cost of it? Which I mean, for me, it's not an excuse, but it is what it is. What do you
think so.
think? Yeah,
I think so because it seems like all the mechanics are just the same as they were.
it's the same thing. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Which it-
I think the reason behind this is to just
Make it easier.
make it
for
as
people.
easy for as many people as possible to get into, even though it goes against like VR enthusiasts like us. It's like it feels counterintuitive. But if the
Right.
idea is to like make it a gateway drug like marijuana is to harder substances, then that's what you want to do in their eyes anyway. That's how I see it. I disagree with this. I don't want them
Let
to
me
buy
ask
that.
you this though. Let
but
me
it's
ask
about
you
the
this.
money, not about inviting people.
Well, I
in.
think
It's
eye
about
tracking
making
stuff, like the
money.
fact that the ADS thing, I feel like that probably took a lot of R&D and research compared to just because they've also got manual aiming in the game. It's not doesn't feel as good as it should maybe, but it is there, and they've added ADS to it as well, which is a whole different technology. Anyway, Mike,
If
you're going to
that's
say
true
something.
though, about wanting to make it easier, as the game is right now, like when it was released and up until now, what do you think is an easier learning experience? Jumping into Pavlov or jumping into this game? Because I think Pavlov is an easier game to get into for a brand new person to understand the mechanics and understand how to play it than
And then the
Firewall is.
reloading is hard for people at the beginning. Yeah.
Well, but they'll get used to
Yeah.
it. Like you can understand Pavlov better than right now than you can Ultra. Like just
Okay.
getting into the game.
If I'm a T for teen,
Yeah.
like which is what Firewall is rated as, like maybe
Even just getting started in the game, like just going into the lobby and like trying to figure out how to start a matchup
oh yeah,
and how to invite just everything in terms of like starting the game, playing the game, learning how the eye tracking stuff works. I think that took longer to get a hold on than
That needed-
Pavlov did for me.
that needed its
that
own
was-
tutorial in
What were your
Firewall just to
fantasies
get
as a
through the
teen?
menus and shit. What she said?
You say, what were your fantasies as a teen? You were like, if I was a teen.
No,
You
T for
remember?
teen. No, disgusting.
Listen, the
Let's
whole
stay on
point is
topic,
that
you pervert.
it's all about the. You said that. Listen, it's all about the money, right? They don't care about my vision, new player. It's all about the money. Let's not fuck around, right?
I disagree.
And, yeah,
If it's about the
okay,
money,
well,
why
they-
add the ADS? That's 100% to help new beginners who aren't used to aiming VR weapons yet.
Right, but that doesn't mean everything has to be like that. What I'm getting at is that we're not like 30 million years ago that, oh, nobody knew. It's not. I think you're making it seem more of a big deal, like, oh, it's for new people because they don't know how to open a door with their fucking hands. They gotta press a button. They don't know how to press buttons in here. They gotta just hold a button to activate the computer. Like, I don't think that's an excuse. I think
Hold on. So
Mux
it's just
was
about
saying.
opening doors. I mean, opening doors is hard. How many games do you open doors in like that? Resident Evil doesn't. You get close to a door in Resident Evil, it automatically opens. Pavlov
Okay, but
doesn't
that
have
sucks.
doors. I mean, it'd be cool if it worked properly, but it is a finicky thing to get right.
Okay, everything else, all right? Manual reload, throwing the grenades, all that shit, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say, right? I
Okay.
just don't think that is a excuse because the majority of people, if you ask them, like even Mus is saying, I think it's easier just to jump into Pavlov, and it's like, oh my, I can't play Pavlov because that's too VR for me. I like Firewall because that's in the middle. Like, not a lot of people are gonna say that. I think the majority of people would prefer, and they would have made more money if they would have made this more of a VR game. And you guys know what I'm talking about. That's just
Yeah.
my personal opinion. At the end of the day, regardless, this is not a fucking charity. This is about making money. First Contact needs to make money. Sony needs to make money. And people fuck up. They make the decisions. I'm not an expert. But at the end of the day, I do think if they would have made it a full VR experience, this game would have sold a fuckload more copies. Just my
said
opinion.
that
But
I've
again, I'm a
seen-
smooth brain, so.
I've seen the comments on Reddit of people being like, well, actually, I hate the reloading in Pavlov, and it puts me off it completely. And I know that's just one aspect, that's just the reloading.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the grenades thrown in Pavlov is not great,
Agreed.
you know?
It's not great, no.
I think there is reasons besides just it costs less money for them to do it, you know?
Right. I'm not saying all of it is, but how much
I
do
think a
you
good
think
bit of
that
it.
has anything to do with it?
Like maybe the weapon system, maybe that was a cost-cutting thing, because then you'd have to work out, like, because you're using the full body in Firewall 0 Hour, and you look down and sometimes your arms are sticking into your asshole or whatever. So maybe it costs more to get a reliable skeleton system where you're hooking up the holsters, and that's why you have in Pavlov, you look down, you don't even really have a body, you just have your holsters floating around and, you know, your guns and shit.
Yeah.
So that is not an easy
Yep.
issue to solve either,
Yeah.
when you're going for full body anyway. I mean, would you rather have the Pavlov body style where it's like floating hands, but have the
I would-
holsters of Pavlov?
If I can have holster my weapon, I don't care. I don't care
You
what you
prefer
put
that?
in there. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't care.
I don't care if my character has arms. Like, as long as the mechanics are good, and I would trade off my character not having a body or like arms to make my animations look better to like a teammate.
Okay.
I would rather.
Yeah, even though it's
I would.
pretty funny, but yeah, yeah.
I would rather like look at like people walking around and not be like all weird glitchy with their arms and stuff. Like,
yeah.
then
Shoot
yeah,
him like this on top of the
Yeah.
fucking head somehow
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shoot him
exactly.
perfectly.
stuff like that needs to get cleaned up in VR.
Yeah, there's definitely like a janky kind of a look to your teammates.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? Also, I
And,
noticed.
and more so than 0 Hour, because 0 Hour had the aim controller, so everybody
Right.
always had their hands on their guns, so no one's arms were doing anything weird at any point. So it looked
Went
better
to the and
character wise.
right, and to that point, Muzz, like the way that you can tell, you can see your other friends or your other teammates or even the enemies. It's not really right, because I remember this last match we were playing. There was a lady, a girl. I could just see her head, and she killed me, but I couldn't see that she was aiming at me. Right.
Yeah.
And again, not every game has that, but I was like, oh fuck, I guess she was aiming at me, and all I could see was this, fucking chinning up.
I mean,
so.
she had no body?
No. She was covered, right, by a wall, and you
Oh,
could
okay,
see,
okay.
but I didn't see physically her weapon, so I didn't know she was aiming at me. I was just covered, and then she just shot me, and I was looking at her, but all I could see was her chin and up because she was covered. But apparently, her gun was also up, aiming at me,
Okay.
but I was not aware of that because it just didn't show it on the game.
Okay.
So I
Fair
kind of
enough.
see what Mus is saying about how it appears to the other people. It really kind of affects it. It's kind of silly, but it does kind of affect you a little.
Makes sense. Mjolnir is here, says they do need to fix the game ASAP. I'm new to VR and Firewall, so I'm more forgiving than the OG players going by their Discord, but the OG players do not seem happy at all. And we are
Who
OG
said that?
players ourselves. That's Mjolnir from Scotland.
Scotland, isn't
Chop
that close
wants
to you?
play. How you doing, Chop?
Have
by
you
the way?
played Mjolnir? Did you play Pavlov? And I'm curious as to if you got used to Pavlov as quicker than you have been getting used to playing Ultra.
Good question. Tsuki says, I mean, imagine people getting jammers before everyone else will be OP and broken. Well, people did get jammers before everyone else in 0 Hour as well. It was level 20 something in 0 Hour too, but it just felt like it was easier to get in 0 Hour to like level up. So it was less of an issue, although it's still an issue. HDS says they fix it, question mark pump. It's better. It's not 100% fixed. There's still issues, but you can get a game with your squad now. And it might be better to play with a squad than it is to go solos now. Because maybe solos is more... I mean, you could get a match solo before, but it was still not 100% reliable either. Well, now with squads working, you've just got a match against 4 other people instead of finding 7. So if you can get friends, then do it.
Just get people that are planning to play for a while, because if you get in after one round, one of your teammates leaves, then you're not getting somebody else in there.
Yeah. Chop says, so is it good or not? Did First Contact fuck it up? Did they drop the ball on this?
They did some fixing.
They did some fixing.
It's
is
better
this
now.
like as it is now? Would you recommend it to someone?
It's good enough to recommend buying now. For like if you want to play with friends, you can play with your friends now. Like you can get into a lobby.
I feel like if you want to deal with certain issues not being smooth experience like you should expect in a game, then sure, go ahead. It's a good game. But if you want it to be smooth and no issues joining people and playing and all that stuff, then wait.
Yeah, there's going to be more patches. I mean, if you want to wait until they
It's
patch
only been
some
what, a
more.
week or something. I'm surprised. I'm glad it's been faster than
2 weeks
you
on
know,
Thursday.
2 weeks. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I still recommend it. I'm still like today. I had fun. I was laughing, having some giggles.
Sure,
There was the
yeah.
last day I killed 3 people with a shotgun, and like saved the day. I felt like a badass doing that, you know, and it was a good time. Obviously, the
good.
issues are not acceptable, but it's like, yeah, Jackpot maybe has the wisest thing. Wait for a few more patches if you're still on the fence. But if you already
you'll
have
get
it, which I think you do, Chop, then
Oh,
there's
well-
no reason not to try it out.
But when the game works, it works and it's very fun regardless of what we would want it to as a game. It still is very fun and I still recommend the game. The graphics are good, the gameplay is fun. Now they have its issues, but I still feel it's a really good game.
Es Diaz is talking to you in Spanish, Jackpot. He says, Jackpot, te milo, papi, que la que. What does that mean? Can you translate?
It means you're a bigot.
Is that what that means? Shane Humberstone, how you doing, Shane? He says, I had, or rather tried to have, a couple of games on Firewall Ultra. I assume you mean after the patch. He says, we had 3 on our squad and we saw 5 on the other squad in 2 separate lobbies. So we had that issue as well, where it was like 6 of us in one squad and 2 of us in the other. But when the match started, it put us in the correct squads. It matched us up. So it is like a weird bug, but it's not a...
And everybody was highlighted white. There was no
Yeah.
people highlighted red on either side. Like everybody, like the 2 over there and everybody on this side were all highlighted white. So it was weird, but it did fix when the match started. It had us all on the right teams.
Chop says First Contact Entertainment didn't show none of the game because it was broke and should have been pushed back for a month. They could have easily gotten, like we went through a round smoothly, just from start to finish, 3 rounds. They could have done that if they wanted to, even with the issues, because matchmaking issues are not something that they were experiencing when they're doing their internal testing. So they, you know, the things that are actually literally broken, which is the matchmaking, they could have easily like put out a full gameplay trailer and you wouldn't have known that the matchmaking wasn't working anyway, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I explained that very well. Patrick Ball says Pro Firewall settings. Subtitles off. Dialogue volume 5%. Music volume 10%. Damn, for that ultra immersion. Tsuki says, had a team with double time and they were on us way too fast and really hard to shoot. Both paid contractors have broken skills.
Yep.
So, this is the first time hearing that Diaz is too fast, but both of them are saying it. I knew Diaz was always kind of fast, but
Yeah.
too fast? And the amount of complaining people were doing in Firewall 0 Hour that, you know, contractors are moving too slow.
I'll be able to confirm it after 20,000 more crypto.
4 more
Tassos
months.
says, time is money. I think everybody wants to drop in and play as many games as they can. Wait in the lobby is a waste of time. HDS says, fuck Firewall Ultra. Raha skill sucks. That definitely needs to be worked on. I still have no confirmation if that's a bug or if they've intended Raha to be that powerful. I feel like it has to be a bug.
I hope so.
Because if you shoot the gun once, you just stay active. Like they just see you for the rest of the round. Is that how it works? Is that true? I don't know. If you shoot the gun, you're fucked anyway. Basically, if you've got a Raha on the enemy team.
Yep.
I haven't
I'm
seen
gonna
any.
have to find a streamer that's playing with Raha just to watch
Yeah.
how it works, because I haven't actually seen it with my own eyes, like playing
Dead
as
Eye Dan.
Raha.
Dead Eye Dan has it. Get him
Yeah,
to stream.
well, if he's here, he can confirm all these questions, but... Oh, he is here. Confirm those
There you
questions, Deadeye.
go. Get to work then.
Get to answering those.
I'm trying to catch up. I mean, I'm really behind in these comments. It's good. Jumping down to Mojo says, cannot join for a while. Got to go spend time with my girlfriend. Nobody believes that, Mojo. Nobody's buying it. Is her name Pamela? Do you put lipstick on her? Sorry, Mojo. Not a preset. That's not directed towards me. Dan says it's fine by yourself. I play with randoms all the time. Okay, so I was wrong about that. Shane says, I think they should have taken more time to bring Ultra out, but if they were chasing money, they need to adapt 0 Hour for Quest 2. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. But the way people keep saying it's a flat game in VR, maybe they should make it flat for PS5 and have crossplay with VR people.
No, it's not gonna happen. You know what it is gonna, now that this game is like this, you know what game is gonna become more, I'm not saying it's gonna be better than this, but more popular than it was, because this is more of a flat mechanics. Breachers. When Breachers comes out in the PSVR2, I think that it's gonna be more popular than it would have been if Firewall would have had more of the VR mechanics, because Breachers, it's a pretty good game, dude, and it has destructible environments to a point. You know, the walls and shit. There's some foam you can put on the walls to breach. And
Talk about the graphics. Tell us about the graphics.
the graphics are not even close to Firewall, but they're not horrible graphics. There's no offense, a mini golf walkabout. I love you. But the graphics are not great in that game, which I don't mind. You don't need good graphics, but they're not walkabout mini golf graphics. It's good, and especially the PC version looks a little bit better, and obviously the PSVR2 is going to be good. What I'm saying is, I just thought about it. That game is going to come out eventually, and it's
Eventually,
gonna be
there's
good.
no date whatsoever for that. It's just to be.
Why are you being so
determined right now.
negative, Muzz?
Maybe,
Just say
we're
yes.
looking at other platforms. Goodbye.
All right, well, just anyways, when it comes out, you both are little bitches right now. Just say yes. It's gonna
oh,
be
shit.
good
All
game.
I'm saying is you have no idea how long. Maybe like mid 2024 or
By the time
later.
Breachers
We don't
comes
know,
out,
man.
Firewall could be completely different.
They're not gonna change.
You don't know?
anything.
You don't know?
I know.
You
I
don't
know.
know. You
I
don't know. Germ says they've said
They're-
Raha's getting nerfed, so that's confirmed. She's getting nerfed. Hopefully,
Well,
in the
yeah,
next
they're
patch.
changing things like that, but they're not gonna give us VR mechanics on the things we're saying. That's all.
Look,
I'm
I
saying.
mean, we're probably not going to get like a holster system, but maybe,
which is fine.
It seems like the aiming thing. Like a lot of people are unhappy with the aiming, so I feel like could be something that they adjust.
Maybe.
You know, and that if that was adjusted, that aiming thing, I know Tradition, and he's probably not watching now, but he's like a big proponent of if they just fixed the aiming, then I'm all the way back in on Firewall Ultra. But as it is now, it's too off-putting.
Or just something as
Right.
simple as make it so, like, if you just want to do the manual aim like I do, and I know Germ will agree with this, just make it so it doesn't have as much kickback as it does, to make it more on par if you do hold the ADS.
Or just add recoil to the ADS because it's like
Yeah.
ridiculously accurate.
Yeah.
Overpowered. Yeah.
Either way, yeah. Either
both.
nerf.
Buff one and nerf
Nerf-
the other one a little and meet them
nerf ADS.
halfway in the middle.
Yeah.
Damn, I should be a game developer. We should all be game
No.
developers. How do we do this? How are we so good?
It's because we use like some logic and some
I know, we probably don't know what the fuck
Some
we're
logic.
talking about.
Sure, that
some
would be
logic
perfectly
and some-
We
balanced.
think we know, but we
and
don't.
fair gameplay
Exactly.
ideas. That's what we're doing.
Listen, we don't know how to make a
Kill
game,
Samuels.
but we know what we want as consumers,
Yeah.
right?
Well, just
We
things that
bitch.
make sense.
We
Like
bitch if we want. Sorry, Muzz.
Too much.
just simple things that make sense. That's all we're thinking of. Is like in terms of like what you see as a gamer.
Yeah.
It's like you're just always curious as to how some things get past the QA.
Yeah.
Like, without
Well, I mean,
realizing-
the thing is,
Fuck
it works
you,
as intended.
Muzz.
It works
Fuck
as
you.
intended, so that's like.
yeah,
know.
yeah.
The issue is the fact that we don't want it to work as intended. So has the Killer Sam says. So has the patch officially fixed the squad issues? I had a squad of 3, including yourself. I don't know about a squad of 3, but a squad of 4. We got a squad of 4 working. I'm assuming a squad of 3 is probably improved as well, but we didn't test with 3. But a full squad works. Move Master Mick, how are you keeping? Does she whistle when you blow her up? Says chat. Ace Diaz, they should have left the Raha skill on the tablet attached to your arm, but they got rid of the map on your arm, so that's gone.
Yeah,
Like, how would you want Raha to be improved or nerfed? Like, what would you want to see to be happy with that? To still be good enough that you want to use it, like.
It needs to be like the same radius as it was in 0 hour when you were looking at the tablet. Like, it had to be like, I don't know how far it was,
Like
but it
10
wasn't
feet
super
radius
far.
or something?
Yeah. So if someone's behind a wall, you'll see them. Kind of like that idea. But not like, not the distance that is ridiculous right now.
What if instead of a red outline, it was like just a red glow, so you didn't have a specific location of where they were? Is the outline too OP? Like, you know exactly where they are and where they're facing and stuff? Or would you keep the outline?
I'll be okay with just like a little glowing shit as long as it's, within pretty close range. That'll be fine with me.
Even if you had to look at your tablet and see like the red dots moving on the tablet, it wouldn't be as broken right now as is if you had to do that, because then you'd always have to be looking down on your wrist to see like them showing up on the map. But yeah, they took away the arm piece to look at, and then they extended, like they buffed the hell out of it.
The range is just
the range. Yeah.
So you think just the range would fix us, or do you think, because it's very confusing right now, like do you show up when you're walking without ninja, or do you have to be sprinting? Obviously you do when you shoot your gun, but if your gun has a silencer, does it show up? Because I was using that the one with the built-in silencer, and still he seemed like he was able to see me through the wall that one time.
So that's so overpowered, dude. This fucking sucks.
Tasuki says, with Raha, I can see people that are like 20 feet away on another floor. Yeah, that's crazy. It is crazy. And you don't have to be Raha to show her skills, so anyone could have us, like Tasuki points out. So you just have to assume everyone's going to have us, which is why I'm always forced to use ninja. Always. And I don't even know if it's working very well. If I'm sprinting while I'm using ninja, am I safe? I don't know. Dan, do you know? Rogue says we just assume everyone has it. Exactly, you have to.
Yeah.
Oh shit. GC13 Gamer Chick says, wow, how have I missed these live shows? Probably because we're clashing with the PSVR without parole live shows. So yeah, it's understandable. But thanks for joining us. Ninja doesn't block Scout, nor does Ghost, says Rogues. And Rogue, well, both of the Rogues. The other Rogue says, nah, Ninja does Jack. So I thought the whole point of Ninja was to counter Raha. Yeah, well, not the whole point, but a big point of that. So you're saying I'm wasting my time using Ninja the whole time?
Wait, what does she counter? What does Ninja counter?
I thought Ninja would counter Raha. Scout skill,
yeah,
you know?
And what are they saying?
Both the Rogues are saying, no, Ninja doesn't do shit against Scout.
Oh my goodness.
So that's completely broken.
Alright.
I wonder how much they're going to nerf it. If they're going to nerf it enough that people are not going to use it, just kind of like the grenade launcher.
But I don't think anyone is like happy with Raha. I think everyone is in unanimous agreement that she's overpowered. I don't think anyone has said, no, she's good the way she is. Get good, scrub.
Yeah.
You know?
Just the people that have her. Just the people that are using her right now.
Spent $5 in real life to get her. It's like, no, she's fine. She's fine.
Yeah, I'll just leave it alone.
Their fault for having fear or feeling in general. What? GC says, if you continue to go about an hour, I'll be able to catch the end of the show. Nice one. We'll see. I don't know how long we've gone for already. We've gone for an hour exactly. We're still on the first topic. So, you know, promising.
Yeah, we usually get hung up on firewall stuff.
Firewall. We just every episode is the same. At least the firewall segment is the same.
Thinking about firewall for an hour.
We repeat the same.
We need to get it out of our systems. It's like a therapy. It's a group therapy session.
Yes.
And that's how we cope. Rogue says the only counter to Scouts is to rush or hide and wait for them to walk by. That is the only counter. So can somebody tell me, if I walk normally, just walking, not running, not crouch walking, but if I walk, will I show up on Raha's ability?
And if you do, do you show up if you're using Ninja, just walking, not running?
So confusing.
I can't imagine that you show up on Raha's radar, if you're using Ninja and you're just walking, if you're not running, just walking, you have to not show up on the radar, right? Because if you did, that makes 0 sense. It wouldn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
GC says, is Firewall Ultra the only shooter discussed here? Pavlov and Crossfire not make the grade. We have talked about Pavlov and Crossfire. I've streamed Pavlov for like 70 hours since launch. Haven't played it since Firewall Ultra came out, but I do like Pavlov a lot. As for Crossfire, it's kind of one of them games where I'll either try and get a code or wait for it on a sale maybe, and get into it then, because I've heard like people were disappointed with Crossfire at first, but then once they realized it was, you know, an arcade shooter that was Time Crisis, like it actually does that well. So it's on my radar too.
I'm just much more into PvP stuff than the single player campaign shooters, even though it does look good. But if it ever got a PvP incorporated mode down the road, then I would probably buy it.
Remember Fairpoint when they added PvP?
Yeah, they did add PvP. Even it wasn't big. It was only like 2 versus 2 or something weird. But
wasn't even that much. I was thinking 1v1, but maybe it was 2v2.
I think they eventually extended it, maybe to 2 or 3 on a team or something.
Damn. I don't think it was ever 3.
No, 2.
That, but yeah,
it was
2 max. I don't know the topics they have for this episode, but they talk more than just Firewall. Sometimes, if you catch us at the right time, we'll be talking about a different topic. Tsuki says a good way to nerf her is to make it so you only show up if you're firing a weapon that's not silenced and just ping, and not keep seeing it non-stop. I think I agree with that. That seems good. And also the range as well. Bring that range in.
Yeah.
To like Mose said, the same as in Firewall 0 Hour.
And I would say if you're running, you would show up on her radar as well if you're close enough, like within like maybe
sprinting,
like 10,
the proper sprint. Yeah.
If you're sprinting and you're like 10 or 20 feet away, then maybe you'd show up then as well.
Okay, I can live with that. That seems more reasonable. Unless you have Ninja. If you got Ninja, then you shouldn't show up even if you're sprinting.
Yeah, because there should always be a counter to everything. And I thought that's what Ninja was, but now they're saying it doesn't work. So
but is that a nerf? Now. I mean, sorry, is that a bug? Maybe it should work and it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what's.
How about the knives? I feel like the knives suck too.
I need to test them more. There was that time.
I mean, I feel like in real life, it doesn't take that long. It takes a lot to kill, I'm assuming, with a knife. But still, I feel like I've knifed a couple people before, and they ended up killing me because I stabbed them like 3 times and then I'm dying.
If you,
there's a trophy for stabbing
someone
in the back. There's a trophy for stabbing someone in the back with a knife.
But if you do that, that should be a 1 hit down.
Yes.
Yep.
Should be.
Or in the head, anywhere in the head, it should be immediately just drop.
A stab in 0 Hour was a 1 stab kill, unless you had Rhino.
1 stab down. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you did the 1 animation stab and they just dropped, so it should be the same. But
and I was all excited when we're like, oh man, I wonder what the animation is gonna be when you kill somebody and when you stab them, and it's just fucking nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Shit.
Tsuki says the knife is useless. Should be a 1 hit kill. No one uses it because it's pointless. That's another thing that needs buffing. Buff them knives. Did I
imagine if they? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Just he's answering a question about Ninja. He says you don't see players if they walk or crouch using Ninja. So you telling me you do see players if they're crouching, walking, if they don't have Ninja? Because that's fucked up. That ain't right. The whole point of crouching is that you're stealthy. If you're walking around in a crouch, you should be. Nobody should see you. In my opinion. Stealth build is kind of crap if you can't sneak up and 1 stab someone. But someone said if you use the R2 with the knife to do the pre-baked canned animation, that does down them if you do it that way.
That's what I heard.
But if you do what I did, which is just like slice and dice, normally it was like 3 hits to down Tsuki. And he downed me at the same time because he had enough time to turn around to see that I was stabbing him, and then he shot me in the face with 1 hit and downed me.
I want to do like hardcore like Hitman type takeouts with a knife, like walk up behind them and then you grab them on their forehead and like cut their throat.
I want to pull their hair.
Like pull them back, cut, and then just see them drop.
I want to see the life leave their eyeballs. Dan says no, you don't see players that are crouched without Ninja. Okay, crouched walking now. I mean, just to be clear. Tsuki says why there even is a pre-can stab when you can just stab makes no sense. Yeah, I don't really get that either. But maybe it's like an accessibility thing, but it shouldn't be more powerful than manual stabbing, if that's the correct term. Anyway, I made another point. I looked up the Metacritic for Firewall because it's nearly been 2 weeks, and it's got what is it, 63 on Metacritic, and then the user reviews is 7.7
Out of 10, I'm assuming.
out of 10. Yeah, so this is like Metacritic. So
I think that's probably the perfect score. Even when they fix everything, I think for me, not having those VR mechanics, it's never gonna be, 8, 5, 9, 10. For me, it's never gonna be there.
That's a little higher than I expected, honestly. Like with all the
Yeah.
problems that it had from launch, 7.7. I was thinking maybe like a 6 or maybe 5,
Right.
yeah,
just from all the.
but the critic review is 63, which I was expecting
Right.
that to be lower as well with the issues, but
Yeah.
Hmm.
But okay, what let's say everything is fixed. Not everything. I mean the multiplayer, all that is fixed. But the ADS, everything is just how it's supposed to be right now. Nothing is changing. Yeah, they're gonna nerf things. They're gonna obviously fix all that. But what I'm saying is, the game works now. What will be your score? I know we haven't played much, but as of right now, how it looks like, what would you rate this game? Out of
I would
100.
say 7.5.
with everything running as it should be.
As
Oh.
it should be.
Well,
as
as
it
they
should
tend-
be.
You know,
Right, but
with
without
everything-
obviously they're
no
not gonna
bugs.
change the way that you reload. They're not gonna change
Yeah.
none of that. It's just they're obviously gonna balance the stuff that we need to balance, but everything works. What will be your
So like my toggle grip's working. My
Yes.
if I'm aiming down sights, there's not as much recoil to make it on par. All that kind of stuff is balanced. Or
I don't know about the aiming. Are you including the
I don't
aiming
know about
jackpot?
I don't know about the aiming because I don't know if they'll do that. But without the aiming stuff, just how it is right now. Besides
that
the
would
tweaking
dock a
of the-
point. That would dock a
Okay.
point if they don't have that fixed.
So still, it'll be like it won't be more than 7.5 ish. You won't give it more than 7 or 8 if they even fix those things.
It would be like an 8 or an 8.5 if it had less recoil for manual aim to make it on par with the people using the ADS.
Okay.
But
wanna-
without it, yeah, I would say 7.5.
I want to try out that exfil mode before I would give it like a rating because I'm seeing people saying it has like the best AI in a VR game they've seen so far. So I haven't tested. I've only done it
Maybe.
solo, and they were hard.
We
But,
tried it once. Me, Jackpot, Dan, and someone else. Forget
They
who was
mustn't be
playing with us.
important. They mustn't be important to you, Muzz.
I don't even know if it was Dan. I don't even know. I don't even remember if it was Dan.
How
Honestly,
dare you?
I don't think it was Dan playing either. But
So-
we only played it. We played it for a couple of rounds, and we were still like not even used to the game mechanics. We were just dying instantly,
Yeah.
and we just didn't bother playing.
But it's like super hard unless like it forces you to work together.
Yeah, it's hard.
Apparently.
They're good. The AI is good. Yeah.
From what I see from the AI though, they're not as smart as I wanted them to be. Like they still just kind of run at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
But I think that's very hard. I think almost it's very rare to find a game that the AI
Yeah.
works pretty good.
I feel like one of them flanked me when I was playing it my time. He didn't just. I was expecting him to come, but then he just went around the side and threw a smoke instead.
Mm.
And then, but at a certain point, like he had to, because I was hacking the laptop, he had to do something. I think, but I haven't got past one laptop, and you need to hack 3 of them, and then you need to defend the extraction zone. So,
So what would you give it, the New Pumpkins, a rating? Ish.
if you're keeping the aiming, I agree with Muzz that I can't give it a 10 with the aiming. That's a point for me as well, docked. So maximum 9 if everything
So-
is polished and working, and no bugs and
So
no
if they
unbalanced
fix the
shit.
aiming, you could give it a 10?
Oh yeah, the aim, for me the aiming is the thing holding it back. You know, I can get over the grenades. I don't care too much. I know you made a good point about like VR interactions, like doors and stuff like that, but I don't. It's not a deal breaker for me. The doors are just, I mean,
this is what would make it a 10 for me. If you get rid of the auto lock targeting, that bullshit has to go.
Mhm.
You can keep the ADS. I don't even mind the ADS. That's fine for people that want the steady aim, but make it comparable to people wanting to use, like if they look at down regular sights, make it so it's not as lopsided in terms of recoil.
okay. Yeah.
And give me my toggle grip working, and I'm good. Everything else, as long as I can play the game, like fundamentally just shoot my gun and not feel at a disadvantage to people using the cheat mode, then yeah.
Right.
That makes it a 10 for you.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
for me,
That seems
no.
like
I
an
mean,
easy enough.
all that
seems like
stuff
an
is
easy
a
enough thing.
9, but I can't.
So what do you like
me
for you? You need
personally-
like holsters and shit, and like doors you can interact with, and typing in the computer and shit like that. But I feel like most of that is superficial enough. They'd be cool little things, but like in Pavlov, you press the buttons on the thing. It's cool.
It's just
But if
it's
I
just
was-
something that I feel like we should expect at this point, and it makes, in my opinion, things better. That's why I'm saying this is not a bad game. But for me personally, that does make it a lot. It's just not one thing. It's many things. No manual reload. No opening doors like that. I can't hack. There's no mini game on the computer. There's just a lot of things. No holster. So for me, that will drop it at least 1 point. If they fix everything like Mus is saying, everything, I'll probably give it an. But I just can't, for me personally, I cannot give a VR game a 10 if it has those flag game mechanics. I mean, nobody cares about my opinion, but that's
that's fair enough.
opinion.
You've
My-
explained your reason.
yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just my
my
main focus. My main focus is always just primarily how good is it for shooting. Like how does it feel shooting
that's
the
main
gun?
thing, yeah.
That's my main goal in a shooter. Like everything else, like interaction, that would be great, but it's not. It doesn't break anything for me if I just press a button. Obviously, I preferred, but
At the end of the day, to me, it's like it's at the core. It still has the Firewall 0-hour mode. It's still the only game where it's like if you feel like you have to talk to other people, like no other game, even Pavlov, whatever. It's like you can fuck around in most of
Creatures.
that with like randoms and just dick around. But with this, it's like if you want to have any chance of winning, at least there is dickheads. Well, not dickheads who don't talk, but people who don't talk for whatever reason.
yeah.
Like it feels like if you have one of them in your team, it's like, oh, you're fucked. Because you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like the tactical feel of Firewall that no other game gives you.
Yeah. Like if teammates get downed, like are they helping you on camera, or are they just
Exactly.
quiet, like they leaving you to hang kind of thing? But I just want to be able to play a match. If I go around a corner and someone shoots me really fast, I want to just know like, oh damn, that guy's really good. Not oh damn, that guy probably just used the snap sights and just automatically locked on me and killed me. Like I'm okay with people beating me, but I'm not okay with like knowing if it's like a skill thing or if they're just using the auto aim bullshit. That's what I like.
Yeah, it feels like.
But
it does feel like cheating.
I'll still, regardless, never use it. I'll still have funner just playing, looking down the sights manually, than adapting to that kind of play style. But it just sucks that that's how the game is. Oh well.
Fair enough. I think we all made some reasonable points.
Damn, they fucking hate us at that office, dude. I guarantee. They fucking hate us there. They're
Hey,
like,
I'm scoring it like a 9.
I did too. It's like I said, it's a good game. It's just we have to.
It's a really fun game.
Because what else do we supposed to do?
Sorry,
No, it's a good game.
Rogue says that the user reviews, that there's 10-star reviews there that are fake as fuck. You don't need to look hard. I did look through them, and there was 10s, but there was also a lot of 0s out of 10, and very few games deserve a 0 out of 10. So like it's the way I see it, they balance each other out. So I didn't look through all of them. Like maybe there is like a load of 10s, but I was seeing a lot of 0s out of 10s of I mean, what the game, like, it doesn't, if it doesn't boot up, then I give it a 0 out of 10.
That's it. The
even
most
if I
important
really
thing, if
hated
it's
it.
worth your money. Is it worth your money once it's fixed? Yes, I think so. It's a good game
Okay.
at the end of the day when they fix it.
Okay, Germ says, unless I misunderstood, Rogue was saying you only show up in scouts when you shoot, and it doesn't help to be suppressed. Sounds like they tested us. So then what's the point in having a suppressor in the game?
Good question.
So that must be a bug. Otherwise there'd be no reason to use a suppressor, I don't think.
Just for the audio, like the audio wise, like if someone's not using Raha, they wouldn't hear you like far away shooting your gun, I guess. But
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you still do hear that, like,
yeah,
it's
but at a
just
distance,
different- well,
they
okay.
wouldn't hear you like way off to the right if you were shooting silence gun as opposed to unsilenced gun. They would hear you like over there shooting, know where you are.
Okay. We've talked for 1 hour and 15 minutes about Firewall Ultra. Is there anything else we want to mention before we
No.
go? What's
I
the
think-
next patch? What's the next patch? What's the...
It's just gonna
has the
iron
next one?
out
Is that the
the-
next priority? Like, what's the next priority for you?
Matchmaking, bitch.
grip-
Make it work.
Well,
Well,
seamlessly.
let's say it's decent now.
What do you
Okay, let's say
mean?
they improve upon it, but I'm saying outside of matchmaking because it's like it's
Okay.
getting there now. But what's
Right,
I'll go grip.
balancing.
Toggle
Toggle
grip,
grip from
please.
us. I shouldn't have. After
They're
toggle grip.
balancing on the
After
contract,
toggle grip.
the scales.
They're gonna skip
Raw
it
has
again.
Skills. Okay.
And obviously, we need to fucking not be able to grind for 60 hours a day, even though that's impossible, to get money, you know, to be able to afford a fucking jammer.
Okay.
I
Reasonable.
think.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
think we're
Thank you,
done.
Frank. Thank you, Hez. It's working
Thanks for
a
listening
little
to
bit
my
better.
TED talk.
Thanks.
They're done listening. It's banned. We're
They're always
banned in that
watching.
office
They're
now.
always watching.
Listen.
But listen, genuinely,
Just buy it.
first contact, I think they did, like you should, if we're shitting on them when they do bad, then we should praise them when they do good, and they improve the game to the point I'm actually able to play it and have fun in it now, so I'm happy with that. So I'm sure it was very stressful for them the last 2 weeks trying to get this shit to work.
Listen.
You know, why are you shaking your head?
Because I don't agree
Trying
with
to get
anything
back
you're
How do you
saying.
not agree with that? They didn't
Listen,
release
all I'm
it
saying
knowing
is-
it wasn't going to work, the matchmaking. I mean, they didn't have a beta now. Whose fault? Maybe that was their fault. They didn't do the beta, but...
It doesn't matter, right? We always gonna bitch. There's always gonna be people complaining. At the end of the day, it's a good game. There's stuff that we will like, we don't. I think they did a great job. They're gonna fix whatever, you know, the issues that we talked about, and that's it. Pat on the back, you know. That's it.
We did the same. We did the same for Pavlov. We had lots of complaints about Pavlov, but it's still a fun game. It's not like
Yeah.
No, at the
We're-
end of the day, I think we just bitch because we bitch. We love this game, but
Exactly.
But
It's
it's a
more
great,
out
it's
of
a
a-
great game, dude. It's a good game. I love Firewall.
it's more out of a place of like liking the game so much that we really want it to be
Yes.
perfect.
We know
So,
what it can
yeah.
be.
Yeah, it can
Yeah.
be like
But it's still really
It's so
good
close to
right
us.
now. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
so close.
Looks good. Music's good.
Man, again, as soon as you said it looks good, just them sparks. Keep saying it every time. Then the reflection of the sparks and the metallic doors. Anyway, next topic. Because
Topic.
we could go on
Racing?
for another hour. Yes.
there is another topic.
Yes, there is. So the World Rally Championship game by EA, which is coming out 2023. Well, that's the title, World Rally Championship 2023. I think. I listen. Whatever. Who cares? The point
You missed a good
is-
segue. You should have said, "Let's race right over to the other topic now."
Yeah, Muzzy, you need to like raise your hand or something when you've got a good segue, and then I'll just let you do it.
I was gonna, and then you just jumped into it.
I'm sorry.
You
I'm
go
sorry.
Missed.
Think of something for the next one, all right? And
Already got it.
basically, it's a multi-platform game, right? It's coming to PC, PlayStation, Xbox. However, if you look at the Steam store, it has like an exclusive feature coming to PC only, which is a VR mode. So we're getting shafted. Nobody paid EA for exclusivity. So why are they doing this? Why is this not
Didn't
coming to
they do it last
PSVR2
time?
as well? What?
With Dirt, the other Dirt game, remember we had Dirt Rally, and that was
Yeah.
PSVR, and then Dirt Rally 2, they only made it PC because obviously the PlayStation 1 is not powerful enough, but they never brought it to PSVR 2, so I'm just assuming.
Well, maybe because like development had
Okay.
ended by the time PSVR2 came out, so maybe they didn't want to go back to it. But this game is
Okay.
a new game, and they're bringing it to PC VR, so like they're actively working on the VR version. Why aren't
Yeah.
they bringing it to PSVR2 as well? Is
Other
the player
games,
base
like-
really so small? That's not worth their time. They're like, no, not worth their time.
It's like the F1. F1 racing was the same way.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Although didn't that come out before PSVR2?
It was before. No.
We don't have F1 and PSVR 2, right? F1
No.
Racing.
No, but
No,
it is a PS5.
not
game.
F1.
Surprised.
It's on PS5.
There's-
But it's just
Gran
surprised we don't
Turismo-
have more.
Gran Turismo has some like F1 racing cars, but not like actual tracks of like the races and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you would have think racing is pretty popular, dude. You would have. I mean, I don't know. Like me personally, I like Gran Turismo, but dude, Dirt Rally. If you ever play racing game, if you have the steering wheel that has the force feedback in VR with the stick shift and you play this fucking game, Dirt Rally, dude. For me, it's one of the best VR experiences you can have, dude. That game is fucking sick. It's just very intense, very immersive. So
I
for
played
me,
it.
dude, I'm not bummed out because I got PC. I'm gonna play the shit out of this game in VR, but it does suck because, let's be honest, the PSVR 2 version usually sometimes a little bit better, but it's just easier, you know, just plug and play. The computer sometimes can be a little bit more complicated, but yeah, it's weird.
With how good Gran Turismo was in like the scores and ratings and everybody like giving it praise, you think that, oh man, there is a racing market on the PSVR 2.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what's
For-
going on? Like, what's the reason here? Do you think?
I don't know.
Because how much effort
I know
would it
it's
be?
exclusive.
You know? But
I
this
know
is the
there's like
thing,
some all those hardcore players on PC like there's a lot of like really hardcore racing fans on PC with like really awesome rigs and stuff that are like hard, like they're into like the F1 racing, like, and they just play those nonstop. So maybe that's what it's thinking for. But
worth mentioning that it's not launching with the VR mode. It's going to be like a post-launch update that comes to it at some stage. But they do say, they go out of their way to say PC exclusive.
Right.
So I just don't understand why they would do that. Do they think PSVR2 is just not powerful enough to do this? Well, what's with this stutter?
Nobody's talking about it. Not even Sony. So
well, it's like, oh yeah, shit, we didn't know it existed. We forgot it
we
existed.
We forgot about them. Oh shoot!
The second one,
oh,
they did it too.
Yeah, they did another one.
Thought that was a typo.
Why didn't Sony let us in on this secret?
But this is this concerning? Should we be worried about this?
It is a little bit. I mean, anytime a game comes out anytime a VR game is made and they don't make it for PSVR2, that's not good.
That's one thing if it's an indie.
Well, but there's no before we had the excuse. Oh man, these PC games like Half-Life, we can't play it on PSVR1 because it's gonna explode. Now there's not an excuse, I think, for PC VR games not to come to PlayStation VR2 when it comes down to power. Right, the PlayStation fucking 5 can run any of those games no problem, I think.
Maybe it will eventually. Maybe it's the foveated rendering process. I know that does take a while, so maybe it will eventually come to PSVR2 down the road once they do all the foveated rendering for the game.
It's just the way they said exclusive. Like they didn't need to say exclusive. You know, they could have just said VR mode coming post-launch. They didn't have to be like it's only coming to PC. Nobody's paying them for that, by the way, because it's a PC game. It's an open platform, so it's not like Valve or whatever is approaching them.
Probably just to make it clear, like just like right from the get-go, it's just on PC, so there's no like wondering if it's going to be on PSVR 2, I guess.
But then they could
like for cost more money, so for the PlayStation, spend the money.
There's a place. The trailer for this is on PlayStation's YouTube page as well. They could have an end screen saying PSVR 2 version, like updates coming sometime after soon. Launch, and maybe it can come like a year after the PC version, but at least it's coming.
Yeah,
you know?
True.
I think it might come. I don't think it's like for sure not coming. I think this type of stuff, it might just be one thing that is suddenly they just announce it. But I think it is kind of worrying that they're announcing it for PC and it like says it's exclusive. It might be a time exclusive, but like it's exclusive for what? Like why the fuck nobody's paying them? I'm assuming so.
Exactly. There's no logical reason for it to be an exclusive.
Yeah.
Especially like for a big studio. If it was an indie studio and they only have enough manpower to do one version at a time, that's fine. I get that. Look at Phasmophobia. But for an EA studio, I think it's Codemasters or someone who's working on this. Like they should be able to do two at a time. And even if they want to prioritize one first and then do the other one after, then let people know that. You know, just I think it's concerning. It sounds like they're ruling out as a PSVR 2 version. There's no other reason to put exclusive there unless you want to let PSVR 2 version players know that.
Unless they don't want to hurt PC sales because. Let's say you have a PC and a PSVR 2 and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to wait for the PSVR 2 version. Now, I don't know if that matters because you're still paying them. You're still buying the game. But it doesn't make any sense to me. Like you say, why would they not, make it an exclusive and not put it on the PSVR 2? It's weird.
That's why
maybe it's something on Sony's part. Maybe there's like, they didn't reach out to them about like bringing it over to the VR 2 or like.
I mean, it's no reason that, like, even if they didn't do it, that they can't do it now instead. And, like, maybe it takes months extra to come, but, like, to work through it, it's just, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to bait Sony. Like, they want Sony to approach them and make them an offer they can't refuse.
And Sony's not willing to.
Like this.
Sony doesn't want to pay the money for them to bring it over or something.
I don't get it. What's
that might even be worse if it's like a Sony thing. Like they don't want to go in on it because they don't think it's going to sell or not be worth it.
That could be, dude, because they fucking suck at marketing. So it's like they want this thing to fail.
Jerem says, I'm not into racing games, but Dirt on PSVR 1 was really good.
It was. I liked Dirt.
Jackpot has all the things. Hidden Xbox 777, says Chopped.
Gran Turismo has a pretty good like the off-road racing, and that is not bad either.
It does. But it's not like a dedicated rally game, so if you're into rallying, like it's not going to scratch the itch as much as you would want it to. Yeah. With like this game where it's going to be like every course is a rally course.
Yeah, like in the Dirt games, like you have the person in your like radio like telling you like where the turns are coming up, like the realistic
4 right, into 3 left.
Yeah, exactly.
Germ says there's no one paying for PC exclusivity, so it's probably just a way of saying no Questified. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come to PSVR 2, but it's not coming to like it's. You don't need to do that for Quest because it's like a. I mean, it's not coming to Quest at all. So you just put out the platforms at the end of the screen. You say PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and then a VR mode
It could
coming.
just be some weird marketing strategy they're trying to do. I do think there's a chance it's going to come to PlayStation VR 2 eventually,
I
dude.
don't know. Apparently, Chop
It's
is
a big it's a big market.
Night Chopped. Thanks for joining us. Important says anyone sleeping on GT7 is a hard or. I shouldn't have said that out loud. It's a game that's been in development for 25 years, about as perfect as it gets. EA did Squadrons in VR, says Move Master Make. So maybe. But and I think that is the last EA game that was in VR. Maybe they got statistics that,
Maybe
nobody
didn't sell.
played this on PSVR, but they played it on PC. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
How you doing,
That's
Nerd?
also why they didn't port it over to PSVR 2 yet, because it didn't sell enough for them to care about it now.
Yeah.
Move Master Mix says Grid Legends made it Questicle. It did, yeah, but there's not. My point is that there's not a Quest version of this coming. This is it's like a flat game coming with the VR mode, and it's not coming to Quest. It couldn't possibly fit on a Quest.
What game we should... Well, I know you guys probably don't like this, but there's a Mud Runner. Have you ever played that game?
I've heard of it. I've never played.
There's
It's like
a
simulation
new
kind of thing, is it?
It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a simulation, like off road, but it's fucking cool. You have to like save shit that is stuck here and there. It's very fucking realistic. But they're gonna make a new game, I think, for the PS5, and it's the same developers, I think, but even bigger. That game will be fucking sick in VR as well. But I don't even think we have it on PCVR. I think there might be a mod, but I don't even
There's
think
always
it
going to be a
works.
mod
I'm
on
not sure.
PC. But by the way,
That game will be
I have
cool.
to correct. I missed saying hello to Minus. I'm sorry. He called me disloyal for skipping them. Apologize, Minus.
What up,
Forgive
Minus?
me. I didn't mean to. But
Yes,
yeah.
you did. You're a
So
bigot.
there's a whole untapped market there with like stuff like the farming simulator, because that has a surprisingly pretty big loyal fan base with those games.
That's
And
big in
they could
Ireland. That's big in Ireland.
if they could get farming simulator into PSVR 2, that would probably convince a lot of those guys to get into VR because they like those games a lot.
Yeah.
There's
Anything.
conventions. People go to conventions for that game. Like there's like farming simulator conventions.
Bus simulator. And you see the streamers, they got like cameras down at their feet looking at the pedals, and they got another camera on their hands, and like multiple camera setups. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Lawnmower simulator.
Anything. Actually, we do want that power washer simulator. That seems like it'll be a good one. As stupid as it is. All right, Moz, if we were to move on to another topic, would you have anything to say about that?
I think we can dance right over to the next topic,
Damn.
which is Waltz of the Wizard.
we boogied on over there. Nice segue. Moz, I like this. We'll keep this going for all the topics. Tasuki says, Farming Sim 2024 for PSVR 2. Every pumpkin stream would be multiplayer potato farming, racist, biggest. And I'd be here for it, to be honest. Lol. I'd play it. I've been curious about them farming sim games, but if
It
it's in
seems like
VR,
it'd be
you
a
can't
pretty
say no.
relaxing game.
Yeah.
It would be pretty relaxing just to
Just
kind of
chilling.
chill out, driving a tractor in a field and
Harvesting
Yeah,
crops
yeah.
and whatnot. Nice segue.
There's even
Donnie,
a construction
please, segue.
simulator now. They got everything. dude.
Everything. House flipper.
House
What's the
flipper, yeah,
one
man,
where it's like
Amanda's an expert.
a baby tries to kill itself, and you're the father, and you have to stop the baby from like going into the oven or something. A simulation for that.
shit.
So there's all
what the
kinds
hell
of.
are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I think it's a
You lost
multiplayer
me.
game. I think it's a
Like the
multiplayer
baby
game.
in New York.
One
Baby
player
in
is the
New York?
baby.
What is that movie?
One player is the baby and has to try and kill itself, and then the other player is the
What?
father. The other player is the father, has to protect the baby at all costs. It's a ridiculous game. It looks so
I
janky.
don't
It's
know.
like Phasmophobia graphics, but you
Ooh,
know,
that truck simulator, American Truck Simulator, or the other one,
there you go.
this one in Europe. That would be a
Simulator.
cool
Just
one. in
driving
VR.
on fucking straight roads for 3 hours.
Relaxing, picking up cargo and shit and dropping it off.
There you go. It's living the dream. Important says farming
Wizards.
sim. How about a GTA sim first to sell headsets? Yeah, GTA Rockstar game needs to either GTA or Red Dead Redemption, but most preferably GTA. It is like the best selling game of all time now. GTA 5 that needs to be in VR. I cannot stress it enough. It needs to be bundled with the headset. It needs to be Sony need to be on that, and they're such little bitches for not being on it.
Yeah.
Sim games seem to be big in Euro countries, says Nart. And what the fuck game are you
Yeah.
talking about? Suicidal Babies. I can't remember the name, but it's funny to watch. Anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about Waltz of the Wizard, which
Waltz
is
of the Wizard.
I don't know if it's like, is it related to the Wizards? Do you remember that game, The Wizards, on PSVR 1? I reviewed it. And
Yeah.
another one called The
I
Mage's
don't
Tale.
think so.
It seems like it looks familiar. It's got, well, I guess just Wizard in the name is the only other thing, but this got a trailer with the release date. Is the news?
I don't think it has anything to do with that game.
Okay, different franchise.
Yeah.
So what is this? Just like a puzzle, and then you can like
You got like
put
magic
spells around
powers. There is
shit, or-
combat, and you're like using telekinesis to move things around the place, which kind of reminds me of Snaps or whatever a little bit, except probably not using your eyes. It's coming out anyway on the 3rd of October, and I've just mentioned here October is the new August. August kind of ended up letting us down with Firewall being broken for 2 weeks and Phasmophobia getting delayed, so it wasn't the month I was hoping. But now Phasmophobia has been pushed to August or October, and this game is coming in October, and there's a bunch of other games coming in October too. So October is going to be nuts. You know, Madison, VR, the 7th Guest.
Yeah, I'm excited
all
for
these
that.
spooky horror games coming October. It's going to be good. It's
Yep.
going to be good. I don't really have anything else to say about this game, to be honest.
Looks like it'll
How much is
scratch,
gonna be? 30
scratch
bucks.
the itch for that like Harry Potter crowd. If people like that kind of stuff, it would maybe.
Yeah.
All the Satanists out there. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Damn,
Cast the
Satanists.
spells.
Is that what they're up
Decepticon.
to?
Decepticon love this
Decepticon
shit.
love it. Yeah, you got crossbows. You're fighting stone golem creatures. Oh, Mick
Man, what?
knows what it is. It's called Who's Your Daddy? That's the game, the baby game.
Who's your dad?
Okay.
What the fuck?
Waltz has been around on PC for quite some time since LSB. I know, but if it's on PC, then it doesn't exist to me, unless it's Phasmophobia or
That sounds
Blade and
like-
Sorcery.
Or Half-Life.
Yeah, those three. That's it.
Seeing games like this makes me wonder, like, why don't they push like for that last Harry Potter game that came out? Like, would that be possible
Hogwarts.
to put into VR? Hogwarts Legacy. They made that like a first-person
anything is possible.
PSVR
Too fat of a game, I think.
I
No,
mean, have to downgrade it a bit, but you know, get that full VS
Well,
render
nah.
going. Get that full VS
Because
render
that
like No Man's
that
Sky.
game, at least on the computer, I've heard it's not really optimized the greatest. Like you need a, decent-ish computer to play the game at high frames, and I'm
See,
assuming you need
they
high
don't
frames
have
for
eye
VR.
tracking. They don't have eye tracking on them PCs, you know. Plus, maybe bring in the draw distance a little bit, lower some textures, whatever, and there you go. Listen, I'm a game
Cole
dev.
has
I know
Cole
what I'm
has
talking
something
about.
to make a hard part of
Exactly.
game
Harry
next.
Potter has put it in the oven right now. Drop what you're doing with Ultra and get on that Harry Potter shit right now. You guys want to be Harry Potter? Not necessarily, but Harry Potter game would be huge for PSVR2 if you could get it. Those big IPs,
Disney.
GTA's, Harry
Yeah.
Potter's, the big fucking names. We want all of them.
yeah, exactly. Like the big known IP that will be in VR. That'll draw people's attention over. Like this game, it looks fun. Like it looks cool, but it's not like one that's gonna grab anyone's attention outside of VR. It's not like
No.
Right.
someone's gonna be on IGN and stumble across, or what am I talking, IGN, like another website that shows VR stuff, and yeah, and they'll see this and be like, oh man, now I gotta get a VR too because this game looks amazing. Like it's
Well, we
cool for
almost had it with Iron Man, but it
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
that great.
We needed more of that. Except, man, if they did Iron Man now for PSVR2 instead of PSVR1.
Like it seems like a lot of games now are coming out. Like this one here, it seems like it's marketed towards people that already own a VR and have been playing a VR, and they know that like they're looking for more games to play for people that own VR already. But it's not like it's not big enough to like sell headsets, and not many games are releasing that are big enough to like turn people like, oh man, I got to get a VR to buy that outside of.
This is
earlier
one of those
that-
games, you get them on the PS Plus, you add it to your library, and it's like, oh, I got this game on my library.
Yeah.
Wouldn't I like that?
Like it-
Wouldn't I like to check that out? Decepticon says, if I was Jackpot's age, this game would be fun. It's neat with hand tracking.
Well, yeah, because now he has arthritis, so he can't move his hands around.
is that
So
it?
at my age, of course he'll have fun.
Back when he was a flexible, had use for his body. A little
Listen, I think he's still
whippersnapper.
flexible, but
You think he's
he
still
has
flexible?
arthritis.
Oh, damn.
That's what I heard in the streets of Jersey.
Yeah, no streets.
Yeah, where he bends.
If I were to be done with this topic, Muzz, what would you say about that?
Segue.
Damn, be subtle about it, Jack. But why don't you? Jeez.
Yeah, I
Crisis
don't know. I
Brigade.
wasn't
Just say
thinking.
segue. Just say segue. That can be the segue.
We're in trouble. You could say a crisis.
Damn, there you go. Smooth. He got there in the end. He got there in the end.
Horrible.
Dice
Yeah,
getting
that's pretty
roasted
dumb.
by Jackpot, says Donnie. Anyway, Crisis Brigade. Didn't they used to call this Brigade? Did I imagine that? Like VR Brigade? Was that
Yeah,
my
it had like
imagination?
I think you're right. I think it had
Isn't
the VR
this the
tag
game that
onto
we
the end of it.
had before, and the
Yes.
graphics were very blocky with the
Yes.
Donald Trump masks?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know about that. I didn't play it.
I don't.
It's a time
I don't know
crisis.
if
Yeah,
it's on
type
the
game,
enemies had Donald Trump masks on.
if you say
remember?
so.
At
I
the
didn't play
bank?
it. I didn't play it.
Well, they did.
Anyway, this Reloaded is called, so it's like a remaster basically. It's coming to PSVR2 on the 14th of September. And I put this down beside. That's the same day that C Smash is getting its updates. It's the same day that Down and Out comes out, and it's the same day that Alvo PSVR2 comes out. So that day in particular is kind of stacked as well. It's a time crisis style game. People are saying it's really, really hard, impossible to beat, according to some people. And if you already have it on PSVR1, it's a free upgrade. So there you go. If
That's a
you
good
already
deal.
own it, there's no reason not to get it. I'm not even actually sure what it improves or what it changes.
It looks better, that's for sure. Like,
Yeah,
just
for
looking
Time
at the
Crisis,
trailer.
I love Time Crisis. You guys ever play that shit on the
Yeah.
arcades?
PS1,
Yeah.
Step on that
and
fucking
arcades.
pedal,
Yeah.
and then
I like-
it had actually the fucking gun
It
actually
would
had
move
like
on top. Yeah, they had the feedback.
Dude, that game was
That was
fucking.
cool.
Sick. I spent almost too much money on those fucking.
Damn, we
stole
need
Time
controllers
Crisis
like
was
that.
good. I like the
Yeah.
the Terminator one was the one I played more.
I never played it. We had like in our arcade in rural Ireland, we had Time Crisis 2 for like 20 years in that place. Never
Talk of
updated.
the town, the one machine in town.
Like a pool table and then Time Crisis 2. And that was it.
Yeah, the game
Is
was
this-
a shit, dude.
This game's multiplayer, right? I know you can
Yes.
play
And
it.
it's crossplay as well, I think.
Is it 2-player co-op or 4-player co-op?
You've lost me on that
Just
one. I
two.
don't know enough.
It looks good. I think it looks good. I mean, for what it is. I mean, just because I kind of like the Time Crisis type of style. And I remember playing the first one, and it was fun. And I think it was co-op, dude. Just the graphics were not the best, but it was still fun. So I think this could be, fun.
Yeah, agreed.
Bet on the price too.
They're asking how old you are. Decepticon says you're 10. That's why he gets the little bitch pass. Does Amanda do your eyebrows for you, says LSB? And Decepticon says they're tattooed on.
They're tattooed on in Mexico. You get tattoo eyebrows.
Operation Wolf took all my holiday money in the 80s, said Move Master Mick.
Man, were you
played
all over that VR game? You must have played that Operation Wolf VR.
It looked horrific to me, so from the trailer.
Yeah, it didn't look good to me, but maybe he had nostalgia,
Yeah,
so
if
maybe
you
he
have
was
the
playing it.
attachment,
Yeah,
then maybe.
maybe he
But
was
not
into
for
it.
me. Yeah, speaking of brigades, we got another brigade. The Light Brigade.
There you go.
How'd you like that? How'd you like? I'm stealing your job, Muzz.
Go ahead.
So the Light
It was
Brigade.
too much stress on me.
The pressure was unbelievable. I could see you were cracking.
Too much.
I could see
Yeah,
when you
I
were
just
about
went.
to snap, Muzz. This game actually came out day one. It was my very first game I played, actually, I think, on PSVR. Or was it? I can't remember. I think this is the first game I played.
And you play what the
Or
back?
maybe it was Gran Turismo 7. I can't remember. But yeah, it was like one of the very first review copies I got. Played it, enjoyed it for what I played it. It was like a roguelike game where you die and then the world changes up a bit and you get like different powers for different runs and stuff like that. And I never went back to it because, Gran Turismo came out, Resident Evil 8 came out, bigger kind of games came out, and I was always like, oh, I'll come back to this, but I never did. But it came out with a big update called Memories of War update. It's a free update. It adds new classes and levels and a ton of new items and power-ups for different runs. And people who have played this are like praising it so far. So this is one of those indie games that I think you'd get into, even if you think by looking at it you might not. But the shooting is solid. The mechanics are solid. It's a good game.
Nice, yeah.
There
What
you
was
go.
the price on this one?
I don't know. I do not know.
I don't think it's very expensive, and
No, it's
It's
not
Probably
a
like
full-price game.
$25 or
Like
something.
maybe
Yeah.
something. Yeah, 20-ish.
It is one that I want to try eventually.
I think you'd like it. Both of you. Apparently, it's the best VR roguelike game. If you're into
Maybe.
that kind of thing. Is Synapse roguelike? No, it's not.
I don't
Sort
know.
sort of.
Kind
It's light.
Some
It's
bits
light.
changes, yeah.
It's very
How
light.
about
rogue.
the persistence? You think they're gonna bring something like that? Because that was a pretty good game.
Oh shit! Okay, remember that for when we bring up Rogue's or not Rogue, sorry, Muz's topic later
Right.
on. That game. Anyway,
I thought I was gonna have to break out an Australian accent for a second there. But...
well, you're free to do that whenever you
Do it
want.
either
Muzz.
way.
It would be
I would-
entertaining. We would enjoy it.
No, it would not.
It's top of the morning to you. Just say cunts.
Yeah, that's all you gotta say. Yeah, and then you're safe.
A brigade parade says important. That would have been a good segue.
Raise up lights.
Right there, you go.
My
Movemaster Mix says Gran Turismo 7 first while controllers charged up. He remembers. That must have been how it went down.
$24.99 Light Brigade. That is a
There
good
you
price.
go. It's decent. And it's got a lot of replayability in it. And there's different classes that have different weapons and shit. So they've added like a shotgunner class, and there's another class like an engineer where you have a drone that flies around
Yeah.
and helps you out and stuff.
I watched GT playing the shotgun, and that kind of convinced me I want to get it. That looks fun.
You smoke a cigar, and if you do that, it buffs your health. So that's pretty cool.
They used to have games on the PlayStation VR where you could smoke. Wasn't London Heist one? Yeah, London Heist. Yeah, you put the cigar in your mouth, and then it actually you could blow smoke because it would know like that you're blowing
With the
the air.
microphone, yeah, it would pick up the
Yeah,
sound
with the
or whatever.
microphone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those
Now-
were the days. And do you remember when they first revealed the PS5 controller? It was like Jeff Keighley was doing a demonstration and he was like blowing into the microphone. He was spinning one of them fucking children's whirly things, whatever you call them. Like
Yeah.
became a meme.
Yeah.
Man.
That was good. That was good. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else to say about this. So,
Nope.
to do some justice to these segues, how about we bring up some Vampire the Masquerade justice? What do I want to say about this? I think it's the release date, this is the news about this. It's coming November 2nd, which is very close to October. I'm practically going to put this in October as one of the reasons why October is so fucking stacked. It had hands-on previews for the first time at Gamescom, and PSVR2 version was playable there. It's going to be $30 or €30 at launch. I assume that's £25 for the English and Scottish and Welsh out there. Single player stealth RPG, and it's got heavy Dishonored influence. I don't know, did either of you play
Yep.
Dishonored? Yeah, you like that?
It's fucking good. I played the first one and it's really good.
So
Yeah, I played the first one.
people with the
It's pretty
hands-on
sick.
on this are like comparing it a lot to that. You got the blink ability and all kinds of stuff that are very, very similar. And people are saying so far it's very promising, but I've added this myself. Keep in mind it's a Quest 2 game as well. It's running on a Quest, so don't expect it to blow your mind.
Shut
in
up.
terms of this. I'm
Fast
just being serious.
fast travel games. Yeah, but we don't care about the as long as the graphics are good.
It's not just
you know?
graphics though. It can be limited in terms of like level sizes and stuff. It
Shut
can be
up. We're
limited.
limited in Firewall
You just
and you're
have to-
playing it. Stop it.
It's not
Listen.
limited. Firewall's not limited.
It's
Alright.
limited in VR aspects. Listen. Who
Yes.
makes fast travel games? What other
Yes.
games do they make?
They have made Apex Construct was their first game.
Right.
The Wraith Oblivion was another one, a horror game. It was actually in the same franchise as this Vampire the Masquerade. It's in the same
I've
world.
heard. Because they're pretty solid, right?
They became a
they're
publisher,
pretty-
so they
pretty
publish
good,
a lot of
right?
games as well for other people.
Right.
And actually, GT worked with them for a while. He was
Nice.
like, and I interviewed with them for a job, like a video call, and he was like, "Cool, you're not getting
You
the
did?
job. Get lost. Beat it, pal." I did, yeah, ages ago. Yeah, but the game looks good, and I'm excited about
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah,
And I never played Dishonored, so this is maybe, give me a chance to correct that in a way.
Well, the flat screen games of these are pretty lengthy, right? So like hopefully this is decent in size that you're going to be playing this for a little while, not just like a hand bite size game from like the flat games that they come out with.
I like the fact that it's just like a nice single player RPG experience. I feel like a lot of VR games coming out now are like multiplayer. Maybe that's just my imagination, but I just want more traditional games as well for a nice healthy mix.
It looks good. The concept looks pretty cool. And the
Like
song
the-
vibe.
It
The
does
climbing mechanics look really solid. Like it looked like you can just climb anywhere on the wall. Not like There's none of that designated like area crap that you can only. It's like wherever you want to just climb up and like look down from, you can. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you can like just burst people's heads. Apparently, you can just like. So there's a bit of gore and shit going on there. That's cool. And when you're drinking them, you grab them by the shoulders from behind, and you actually have to pull them towards you, and then you start like sucking their blood. So that's cool as well. They're doing a lot of cool VR stuff. Is there anything else I was going to say? Just like the graphic style, I suppose it suits VR well. You know, it's not like they're not going for ultra realistic visuals.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
Because it has to run on the Quest, you know.
Was he climbing the wall there, or was he climbing like the drain pipe that was coming off the wall?
Be the pipes, dude.
Could be a pipe.
It
Could
might
be on
be
that
a pipe, kinda. I
Mad
don't
for the
think
pipe.
they'll let us
Might
climb
be
in.
wrong. It would be cool if you, because your vampire should be able to like stick to any surface. Like if you're climbing around walls as a vampire,
The only game
it
I
might
played,
not be as free as I thought.
the only game I played in this franchise was that like Battle Royale one that came out. It was like a free to play one on PS5, Blood Hunt, I think it was called. And there was a lot of climbing and jumping around in that. So, okay, he's on.
Is
pipe.
it the same
He's on
people?
the pipe. No, it's the same franchise but different developer.
Oh, it's in franchise. Okay, yeah, I did play that. Yeah, you're right, Moz. I think it might just be the
The
pipes.
drain, certain things that you can climb.
Pipe
Oh, well.
huggers. Donnie says GT did a review. It's of sorts, and when he would eat someone's neck, he was like nom nom nom. Thank you, Donnie. I assume you mean a preview because it's not out until November, and they still got 2 months to improve his polishes or whatever. Speaking of previews, that was a natural segue that just popped up. Arizona Sunshine 2, and especially GT, also comes back into it because he's one of the creators who was invited to Rotterdam, or Rotterdam, I can't remember what the name of the city is in the Netherlands, where Vertical Games, their studio is. They were brought there to check out actual gameplay footage of Arizona Sunshine 2 for the first time because all we have is CG trailers, and they weren't allowed to say anything yet, but GT was teasing that it was good. He did like a drooling face emoji. He was like, yeah, so I've got some high hopes for this now all of a sudden.
Yeah, I really want this game to be good. This was one of my first like big VR games that I played, like in terms of like really getting into VR.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only thing I didn't like it was the voice. The guy was pretty fucking annoying.
Fucking you,
the voice acting was
I turned that down. I just turned it down. Didn't.
Yeah, but I like even the characters, how wonky it was, how they want. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Actually, this is one of the first like full games that I play, and actually I played this for the first time, and I played with LSB. That's the first time that I played with LSB together. Something.
Yeah,
and it's a good game. Yeah, I remember. It brings me back memories. I'm gonna go to the bathroom after the stream.
Damn. All right.
Jeez.
I wonder if it's going to have, because Arizona Sunshine had a co-op mode and it had like a horde mode as well. Was it 4-player horde? Or maybe that wasn't on PSVR2. Maybe it was just PC. You could get 4-player. I can't remember.
I remember playing 2-player co-op through the story, and I only tried 2-player in the horde mode. I never tried 4-player. Can't remember.
I don't know if it's common knowledge or if it's been announced if this is single player or co-op as well, but I'm hoping they'll keep the co-op.
I hope it's co-op.
It's got to be co-op. Come on. Can't have a game like this without running around with like at least one other person shooting zombies.
Yeah.
I'm really curious as to what the graphics are going to be like. I wonder if... I know GT can't say hardly anything about it, but I mean, I would like to know if it's like this is obviously CGI, like not gameplay, but does it look like kind of comparable to this when you're playing, or is it like not even like...
I have a feeling it'll be good, but probably not close to this.
Yeah.
I'd love to be wrong because the CG does look good, but I don't really like this trailer at all. Just how the way it kind of seems like it's, because it's doing the thing where it shows you shooting the gun, even though it's CG. It's like it feels like it's trying to trick you into thinking this is how it looks, like Firewall with opening the door, But obviously we know this is just CG and not going to happen. But they did two of these trailers, and both of them were CG. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's coming 2023. So we have to be seeing gameplay very, very soon. Hopefully all these creators they all got to bring home their own captures and stuff so they can, show off a lot of it.
It's so weird because it's like some of this, like as you're watching it, you could see this being like gameplay, but then it goes to another scene and it's like that can't be gameplay.
Yeah, it feels
So
like they're mimicking the
like-
camera movement, or the head movements with the camera and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and I don't like that. But Important says $1 million idea. As part of the approval process for all flat games, Sony should force devs to give them stereoscopic support for PSVR owners to play in theater mode. But that's just like 3D,
Yeah.
not VR. I'm not big into that, but if you want it, I won't hold it against you if that's what you want. It's just not what I want. Okay. And
That could be, if this could be a 4-player co-op game, and it's just how you expect it to play. This could be a really fun game, like a much lighthearted kind of version of Saints and Sinners that you can just run around and just mess with zombies and.
PSVR2 exclusive?
no, PC as well. Does it come with Quest as well?
I hope not. I hope Quest 3, because that's the one thing, and I do agree with you here, the only thing in your life. The Quest 2, I just don't want the developers to have to, fuck the
Game
game
like
up
every other game.
because
Like every other game. I promise you that happens to every game that the Quest is coming on. Has
it's like,
Assassin's
calm
Creed,
down.
it's got
I know.
Ghent.
I knew you were
Vampire the
gonna say
Masquerade,
something. Listen,
Ghent.
I don't want to say
All
that.
of them are
Listen,
Alright, I promise you.
listen. I just hope they don't fuck around.
I have
with
to
it
agree.
because-
I have to kind of agree, just because, like, obviously you can't do as big a games on the Quest as you can on, like, running.
Well,
on
it's like
PlayStation 5.
I think Horizon Zero or whatever the fucking Zero Dawn.
Call of the
whatever.
Mountain. Call of the Mountain.
No, not the VR game, the flag game.
Okay.
I think they say something about that. There was a mechanic they wanted to use, but they didn't want to put it because the people with the PlayStation 4 Pro, whatever, it was not going to be able to run it.
Yeah, the flying mounts. That's what they wanted.
Right, the flying mounts. You're right. So I hope that it just changes the graphics and it doesn't actually make them change the gameplay or some of the mechanics because the actual power of the headset. That's what worries me. The graphics, I don't care because I'm sure they can tweak them up and make it look really good. I'm hoping, but I'm just more worried about the mechanics that they're gonna have to sacrifice because of it.
It's like the same problem Xbox is having right now with, like, the Xbox Series.
S.
Series
That
S
shit
not
is
being able.
garbage.
It's holding back the other one now, so like they're starting to not be able to make games because they're supposed to be able to run on both consoles, and they can't anymore because they're at a point where it's not possible on the S anymore. So they're kind of stuck. So if they're, that's kind of happening here with, like, games on Quest and PSVR2. That's going to be kind of the same deal.
Yeah,
They want to.
just to bring it back to what Jackpot said, you can't want it for this game and not want it for every game. Because if Quest can hold back this game, it can hold back every game.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Quest goes
Then
in
don't
the
bring
gutter.
it on the Quest 2, fuck them.
But even the Quest 3,
Wait.
like, I'm looking at the specs, and if that had eye tracking with 12 years of rendering, it'd be one thing, but it doesn't. It's like,
Right, but a
It's
lot
still
of the
not
technology
PS5
that they're bringing out, I think right now, it's gonna. The more it goes by, the less actual computer power you need in order to run certain games and do all this stuff. So I think it's just a matter of time. I think the Quest 3 is gonna be a lot better. It's not gonna be as much of a difference when it comes on to maybe. Because let's be honest, they're not gonna go completely full PCVR, a PSVR2. Everything that they can, because they're not going to leave the Quest out. That's a huge market. So unfortunately, that's just never going to happen. But I just hope it doesn't really affect it much because let's be honest, we fucking want the best thing that we can get. We're tired of the little experiences and little demos. We want real fucking games,
Yeah.
okay. Muzz, I thought you put something into the doc here, but maybe you got it on your own document or something. I don't have any of the stuff you were talking about.
That's just about the there was a leak. They were on what was Eurogamer.net posted that there was a recent job listing revealed. Sony's recently acquired studio Firesprite is working on a new AAA horror game. So the guys that made Horizon Zero Dawn, Firesprite.
Does it say VR? Like, it specifically says VR?
I thought it did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Boo, we're talking about.
Damn, you got our hopes up at the start of this. It's like, oh shit, it's not going to be a VR game after all.
Well, it is Firesprite, so, like, what do they do outside of VR? That's why.
Well, they did.
That's why I.
Shit, I was just going to say, yeah, they did Persistence before that, but then they turned Persistence into a flat game as well. I mean, maybe
Right.
Yeah.
maybe
That's
they're
why
not
I just
guaranteed.
automatically assumed it would be a VR game, I guess, because it's Fire Sprite.
There's a high chance that it could be at least a hybrid.
What that would be, though, like a AAA, would it be like a brand new game, or would it be pulling from like a Sony existing IP? But Sony doesn't have a lot of horror games, though, so
Yeah, we were trying to figure out
yeah,
which Sony IPs that you would count as horror ones, and we came up with The Last of Us, maybe Twisted Metal, if you stretch it based on like the characters and story and shit. Even though it's not really.
Well, on the exact same article, a little further down, it also says Fire Sprite was also rumored to be working on a new Twisted Metal game. That's like a different rumor before this one came out.
Okay.
So, if that's true, I would really like a Twisted Metal game, but I don't know if it's anything to do with this new listing for a AAA horror game.
But then, like, I never thought about the most obvious one is that they obviously own the IP for the Persistence, so they could be working on a sequel to that and like expand it into like a AAA full big thing.
Ah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else they have in horror. Siren is the other one I could think of, but I think that's the only other horror one that Sony own. They've had horror exclusives like Silent Hill and stuff in the past, but they're not owned by them. Important says horror doesn't count anyway, because he's a little bitch. Pumpkin's looking to the left as if looking at Muzz and Jaguar. I know my TV's over here and I get a better look at the chat over here because it's small on this one over here. But yeah, I don't know. Any other IPs it could be? What would you want it? Would you want it to be an existing one or just a new one or what?
I just hope it's true. Like if any listing for a AAA game made by like a company like a dev team like Fire Sprite, like they know what they're doing. So it's not like it's going to be a bigger game, whatever they're making, if it is true.
Yeah, I mean they would class Horizon Call of the Mountain as a AAA game as well.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't feel like it feels like in terms of content or whatever compared to a normal Horizon game, it feels like a lot more of a smaller thing.
Yeah.
They scammed you. Yeah. They scammed your money. They stole your money.
That was full price. Yeah, you're right. You know, they did. It
like Resident Evil 8.
Game.
Resident Evil 8 is a bona fide like AAA VR game.
How much was Resident Evil 8?
Cheaper than Horizon.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's a full on fucking
which is crazy.
And Resident Evil 8 has motion controls too?
Well, Horizon does as well.
Yeah, but fucking Horizon, it's that little miniature game compared to, I'm assuming, Resident Evil, right?
But the thing with Resident Evil is like it's still like you can't pick up anything in the environment. Everything feels very static and stuff. So it still feels a lot like a flat game in a way, but they do have the motion controls there. Although you could use the doors with the outhouse doors, you could pull them out, and that's what I was thinking of because they're annoying to open in Resident Evil and VR. Like you think you're pulling them open, and then they get like finicky and they jerk around and stuff. But most of the other doors just like automatically open. Anyway, enough talking about doors. The next topic is, unless there's anything else, Muzz, do you have anything else?
No, just wanted to point that out that there was that listing and possibly something good coming down the road from Fire Sprite if that is indeed true.
All right, just want to check the fax machine in case we got anything. We did get one. Let me put up the fax machine video. This is going to be a weird one. From Dicepticon, he says, Gene made a machine, Jojo made it go, Art blew a fart, and blew the whole damn thing apart. So a bit of poetry that Decepticon's been working on. He probably used an AI machine or something to come up with that.
Google that shit.
It was a chat GPT poem.
Our time.
But that's all we got from the fax machine, so there's not really anything to say about that. We could discuss the themes of that poem if you wanted to, but I don't think.
No, don't indulge him.
No, that hack, that talentless hack.
Don't give him any attention.
Can you imagine when he dies now that poem would be like famous all over the world? They'll be studying that in English classes for years to come.
On his gravestone, put it on his gravestone.
But yeah, we're out of topics, and then this is why we talked so long about Firewall. This is why we talked so long.
Let's go fast.
But yeah, we're done. We're done, lads. It's been a pleasure. Chat.
GG.
Thank you for watching.
GG, everybody.
First Contact Entertainment. Thank you for patching Firewall today. It was a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
Thank you, Has.
Decepticon says it's from Police Academy, so it's not even original.
Of course not. He
regardless,
doesn't
it's
have the
unoriginal.
wrinkles to figure anything like that.
So there you go. He's stealing other people's IP. Classic Decepticon behavior. I expect nothing less from an AI artist. What a thief.
He probably just watched that today, so that's what he came in with.
He's probably making noises. And he sounds like doing all kinds of shit. Hyper. Anyway.
Hey Dan, if you're still there, Dan, let's be my buy Ghost of Tabor so we can play that shit and then talk about it next touch and tips. So I'm excited about that game,
By the
PSVR
way,
2.
I did get a review copy for Down and Out, and the embargo will be over by the next touch and tips. So I'll be able to talk about it
Which
then.
one is that game? Like the fighting-ish
It's that
game?
open world fighting game. With the you beat
You'll
up
be able to
bombs
talk.
and shit.
You'll be able to talk about it a day before
Jersey.
it comes out.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to talking about it.
PG.
Anyway, yeah, that's it. We're done. Stream ending. Goodbye. GG.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.